Broadcasting live from Youngville, North Carolina and Ontario, Canada. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly show where Vicky Rowe and AJ Airmans bring you the mead news, meadery info, and mead making discussions from all over, talking with mead makers, mead owners, industry mavens, and influencers. This is Got Mead Live, a weekly podcast about mead and the people who love it and where the mead world is going. And now here are your hosts, Got Mead owner Vicky Rowe and mead and wine maker AJ Airmans.
From the den of the puppies of the apocalypse in northern Michigan, the bunny pen in Ottawa, Canada, and the palatial retirement estate in Minnesota, it's Got Mead Live. Welcome to the show. Wanted to say thanks to all the folks over Neuter signed up for Got Mead patron membership in the past 2 weeks. You are appreciated. That's how we keep the lights on around here so that we can do the broadcast for you. So we very much appreciate it. If you aren't already a Got Mead patron, I hope you'll consider it. It's only $30 a year, about 50 cents a week, get you access to the patron boards on the Got Mead forum, our patron Facebook group, and the award-winning recipes contained therein. If you want to catch us live, you can find us on YouTube at our YouTube handle is @GotMead. You can get us on Twitch at twitch.tv/meadwench. X is x.com/realgotmead, and Facebook and Instagram, we are Got Mead. So you can check us out on any of those platforms. We are live. You can find us online at gotmead.com, obviously, and facebook.com/gotmead is our main page. Facebook.com/group/gotmead is the main group. We just asked 3 simple questions there. Please answer them and we'll let you right in. Of course, Twitter is @RealGotMead, and if you want to send us comments, criticisms, ideas, people we need to have on the show, questions, what have you, go to gotmead.com, put your mouse over, but do not click Got Mead Live Radio Show. Click the drop down instead. That'll take you to a form that'll email all of us. So we will get back to you once we hear from you. I want to do a shout out for our lovely sponsors, Honeybrook Mead. Calling all mead lovers and adventure seekers. Look no further than Honeybrook Craft Meadery for your go-to destination for wonderful, light, and refreshing mead. With a location in Castle Rock, Colorado, and the new Garden Cottage experience coming this spring to Littleton, Colorado. Go to Honeybrook, HONNIBrook.com to review the tap list, upcoming events, and to order online. And the Honey Jar. Crafting excellent mead requires excellent honey. Luckily, the Honey Jar is here to help. Since 2005, the Honey Jar has been supplying delicious, pure, raw honey in easy-to-handle 12-pound pails to hobbyist brewers around the United States. Visit us at thehoneyjarhome.com/gotmead. All right, so what are we drinking? And we got to make sure we don't forget to ask Christian what he's drinking.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll start out.
Okay.
I opened a small bottle of a multifloral sweet traditional standard strength mead from Augustowski Wozniacki. Obviously, it's Polish, and that's my attempt to not butcher the name too horribly. It starts out with a light lemon balm aroma and allspice with a light caramel honey that lingers in the air. The flavor has a very similar character with buttered toffee and lemon cream in the finish. It's thick and luscious. The acidity is beautifully balanced to the sweetness, giving this a long and delightful finish. It's if you ever get a chance to get your hands on some of this, highly recommend it.
Very cool. I got to visit their meadery when I went to the EMMA on their first one. Yeah, and I ended up staying in Augusto, where the meadery is, for a couple of days, and that was really cool. Yeah, their meadery was really neat. I got to see their beehives in the woods, so or in the trees, I should say, because the bees are in the trees. But yeah, all their mead that I tried was really good.
Yeah, I've had a few from them. I think they won Best of Show at Valkyrie's Horn a year or two ago. So I've had some that way, and they've all been so good. So I would not hesitate to buy anything that they had available.
Okay, y'all, tonight we've got Christian Mlotschek. Did I get that right, Christian?
Mlotschek, yep.
Mlotschek. Okay, so I was close. I live next door to a Polish town too. You think I'd know? Grew up with this stuff, but yeah, it's like there's no way to know. So what are you drinking tonight, Christian?
So tonight I'm breaking my virgin taste buds to U.S. meads. I have Texas Longhouse Meadery's Asgard's Orchard. 12% apple cranberry, and it is fantastic. It's juicy, it's tart, it's sweet. It's right. This is right in my wheelhouse. I love it.
Very cool. Yeah, Carlos makes good stuff. I've only had a few of his meads, but I got to get some more. I got to talk to Tracy and see about gathering some.
Oh, that's right, because you can't order. Gosh.
No, I can't order anything either.
Yeah, they won't. Nobody ships to Michigan. Yeah, or well, only a few.
But she's in the United States. This should not be a problem.
No, it should not be. But here we are. So.
I know. Okay.
Okay, AJ, you want to go next? But I see you're still typing out your description. Do you want me to go?
No, that's fine. That's really all I've got to say about it. I've got a glass of your Chamberlain, and fuck, is this good?
All right.
I think I really like pie mints.
All right, good.
I'm glad you like it. I'll have to see about getting another bottle to you.
This one will last me a while, the way I drink.
Yeah, I got to make another batch. I think I'm down to my last 4 or 5 bottles to keep. My aunt and uncle were like, "We finished that bottle you gave us. What was that? That was really good. Can we have more?"
I guess
also it's also rabbit approved. Unbundle wanted some.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to join the Patreon so I can get the recipe for the pie mint.
Yeah. Just send me a note. It's easy. It's easy.
But yeah, go ahead and join the Patreon too.
But please do join the Patreon, yeah, because like I say, that really is how we keep the lights on. I mean, because it's like if I didn't have patrons coming in, this would have been shut down a while ago because I can't afford to keep it up on my own. So, especially now that I'm retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from like the regular working life, not got meat, obviously. But I found I was going through. I'm on this quest to work on the fridge mead. So there's just like a crap load of mead in the beer fridge. Well, the mead fridge, I guess. And it's just cans of this and bottles of that. And I've got this one, and it's a blueberry Acerglyn made with Nigerian wildflower at 14%. And I can't remember who I got it from. Somebody sent it to me. So if this is your blueberry Acerglyn with Nigerian wildflower, please tell me so I can say thank you. Because this is really nice. This is a 14% still mead, sweet. Lot of blueberry, a little bit of maple in the aroma. And when you drink it, it's sweetly tart. So you get that starting with sweet, ending up in tart like blueberries can do. Lots of the blueberry going on. There's a little bit of oxidation, but it doesn't detract for it. It actually adds some complexity here. And the maple's well integrated. You can tell it's there, but it's just, mixed up in the blueberry. So it's coming in as an undertone. Overall, really nice mead, but sweet enough that I won't drink more than a glass of this because I'd have to go drink a quart of water after that. So, but very nicely done. And thank you for gifting me your mead, which is soon to be gone. So whoever you are.
And for anybody else who sends mead to other folks,
please write your name on it.
Put your name on it. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, so some of us get mead from people all over the place,
Yeah.
And I make a habit of actually putting their names on there if they didn't do it.
That is a good idea. I need to do that because I think yours are the only ones that are labeled.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin's are easy because he's got his signature green painter's
tape
on them. Yep. Yeah. But and nobody else that's given me mead yet uses that. And when you switch to blue, Kevin, it messes everything up. Just saying,
When you do what?
If you use blue tape, then I get all screwed up. I don't know what the hell's going on. So you can't you can't just do that to a person. I'm just saying.
Okay, sorry. I think I did that on one bottle, right?
Yeah, it was. I pulled it out. I'm like, this can't be. Oh yeah, it is.
I might have run out on that roll. I had to go back and get another one.
Yeah. I didn't say the tape I've got is blue, so don't think I haven't thought about using that. I'm going to see if I can sweet talk Tracy and help me come up.
But yes, let's pass that along to people who send stuff around. Make sure you put your name on there because we have a tendency to let these things sit for a while because we all got a lot of stuff to drink, and
Yeah.
there's only so much of it you can do in a day.
And if I don't mark it on there right when I get it, I don't remember
Good
6
luck.
months
Yeah, I
later
know.
when I get to it. Yeah, this one's been riding around in the fridge for a good while now, and
Mhm.
you know, it's on the edge of my mind because whoever sent this to me also sent me a little thing of the Nigerian wildflower, a little thing of the honey itself, and
That's really cool.
it was really cool. Yeah, and it
You
was
know
this
what?
and 2 other meads. And I think it was one of your guys.
Oh, it was one of my guys?
I
Okay, that's
think. I'm not
possible.
sure. That's what it's on the edge of my brain because
I
I
was gonna
remember getting
say
it, but I can't remember who.
maybe it's Kyle Ducharme,
Oh, it might have been Kyle.
because he sent a bottle to each of us, and he also sent a small sample of honey. I bet that's what it is.
I'll bet it's Kyle then. Yeah. Well, if it is
Okay,
Kyle,
I think we
it was
found it.
really good. Yeah.
We'll have to pass on the compliments to Carlos because Sandy accosted my glass of mead and her eyes lit up and she's like, "House to me, you need to make this."
You'll have to
All
sweet
right.
talk. You'll have to sweet talk, Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Trying to do 2
Cool.
things at once here and I can't talk. But for those of you who haven't already figured out, we got Christian on tonight, and Christian is a home mead maker and pretty new at this. So they've been doing it for a couple years, and he's kicking butt and taking names out there, just making mead like a madman. So we thought, what the heck? Let's have him on and talk mead.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be here. It's I've been listening to you guys for a while, and Kyle and I chat all the time on Facebook, and yeah, it's nice to meet more people and learn more things and grow. So yeah, I figured
Yeah,
this is the next step.
yeah, no
Mhm.
kidding. We got to drag you out of Canada and get you down here in the States for like a comp or something, you know?
Yeah, it'd be
Perhaps
cool to
not
visit
for
a
a
couple
while.
of States comps. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, come out to Mazer Cup. It's going to be in Minneapolis. It's going to be in Milwaukee. November, I think.
November
Sounds
gives me
right.
enough time to plan as long as I don't end up in Cuba trying to bring back more honey.
Yeah, I saw that. Do you go to Cuba for work or what?
No, we've been going there now for a little over a decade, and her parents have been going to that same resort since time forgot. So some of the people that live there are basically surrogate family. So
Oh,
we go there for vacation and to get off reserve and hang out with our familia.
gotcha. You got kin over in Cuba?
No kin by blood, more just from just lifelong friendship and adoption.
Gotcha.
So you
Makes
said get off reserve. What is that brings certain things to my mind. What does that actually mean? That
So
term?
so we spend a lot more time not being a resort bum. We'll spend time in people's casas, having dinner, having drinks, going to the
Okay.
local scene. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and where we go, we're way off the beaten path. It's not a resort town by any stretch of the imagination. You can spit and hit 8 farmers, like literally right off the pool. It's such a great place in Cuba to go. The people are amazingly friendly.
It sounds like a really nice place. I like that it's not a resort. The farms are right there part. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's old Cuba resort. So it doesn't have all the glam and glitz that you'd get at some of the other places, but it has its charm. It's affectionately our Cuban cottage.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So hopefully we were there in February, and I told you guys the story about that. I told Vicky about that in the last podcast, but or a few podcasts ago through the chats. So we've been there already in February. We're hoping to go for another 2 weeks, sometime in November if we could swing it. But if not, we'll go to Milwaukee. If not, we'll definitely go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, let's see. Cuba, Milwaukee. Cuba.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
not
that's
a
a tough
hard choice.
one.
It's a
Yeah.
tough one, especially in November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, last year it was not. I mean, the weather wasn't bad. I mean, it was chilly, sure, because it was
Yeah.
November. But we got to.
Oh,
I mean,
it was balmy. Yeah, it was really.
it really
very
was.
pleasant.
Yeah, and we got to go eat really good food,
Mhm.
and yeah. I'm just getting around to eating the pierogies I picked up when we went to
Oh,
what's the name of that place? Was
oh,
the
good grief! I don't remember.
the Polish place, and it
Yeah.
wasn't in Minneapolis we did that. It was in Milwaukee, wasn't it?
Uh,
Because the whole gang of us went.
well, I mean, there was the restaurant with the really surly waitress. Is that the
Yeah,
one
no,
you're talking
not that
about?
one, but the food was good. Yeah, that was that was another ethnicity, and I can't think of what it was
Yeah.
off the top of my head, but the food was it was Hungarian, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a piece of work. Um, Pierogies. Yeah, we're okay. Okay. So Tracy is saying the pierogies were from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
That's
Okay. Okay.
you must have gone to Kramarchik's or something.
Kramarchik's, yeah. And
Okay.
I bought bags of pierogies, and we're down 2 out of the 3 bags are gone.
Okay.
Yeah, love me a pierogi. Yummy.
We'll see. Maybe I can get Sandy to make the special ones we make from my Oma's recipe.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
nice.
They're meals unto themselves.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's the best way.
Somebody's asking where in Milwaukee.
Was not the Polonaise. No. I don't know. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, we went to the Hungarian place or wherever it was Tom dragged us off to.
Yep.
And when we were in Minnesota or in Minneapolis, our M cities mixed up here.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
But so you've just been doing this since 2022. So what, you joined SCA and Blam Mead, or what happened there?
Yeah, pretty close. So I'd known about the SCA for many years, but being a young family, no shillings, and putting my kids through things, the hobbies kind of got put on the back burner for quite a while. And then now that I'm older, my kids are older, and so, nope, now I'm going to start doing my hobbies, and then I've just kind of gotten like, you know what, I've always wanted to try brewing and mead, and there's a few good brewers in our kingdom, and asked a few questions, watched a lot of YouTube channels, and yeah, it's just started hitting the ground running, trying to make different things and playing around. And I generally don't make the same thing twice, but now that backed by bees up here near Burlington, they their notes on my score sheets from Brew Slam back in December, they're like, yeah, you need to make this again for next year, and these are the kind of things we'd like to see you do to kind of elevate it a bit. And I'm like,
Nice.
hey. So yeah, that was and then found out a few weeks later, I got a note from Vince, and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, you want a 15-kilo pail of honey as part of your prize.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I was down to the meadery, or to the beekeeper, as fast as I could get in my car and go pick that up. And it's fermenting in the basement right now.
Okay, so I've never heard of Brew Slam, but I just checked it, and that's a big comp.
It's one of the bigger ones in Canada, yeah.
Yeah, I see there were 539 entries they had. That's pretty sizable.
Mostly beer,
Yeah,
but
of course.
there was quite a few meat. I think we had, I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was about 35 meads ish.
Okay.
It ended up being broken up into 2 categories. It was traditional, and then the rest. And I had entered a semi sweet wildflower traditional, which is the one I won gold for.
Nice.
And then I had also entered my blueberry meadow sweet in the fruit and herb, as well as the historical. I did Olaus Magnus's hopped hydromel from 1555.
Oh yeah, I know that
Okay,
one.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that one, all of them went over really well. My scores were just below 40 on the other 2, and I think 42 for the traditional. I can't remember now off the top of my head. It was pretty good. And yeah, no, and I got lots of rave reviews on the hydromel. They're like, this is interesting. We've never seen, they'd never had anybody enter a recipe from that.
Oh, they
that
never
old.
had hydromel before? God, those are like all
Well,
the rage down here.
yeah,
Mhm.
well, not done in the style of a period recipe.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, because, yeah. Well, you know, and it's funny because a lot of the period recipes would work out to be a hydromel anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when you look at it, because they don't expect you to let that puppy sit forever and a day. It's like
No,
4 days, get it off the
yeah,
bread.
they
Let's
can-
go.
4 days,
yeah,
drink that sucker.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the quote out of the manuscript is you can drink this after about 5 days, but would be even better if you let it sit. So it's like everything I've read so far has been they were young. They drank them young. They didn't really let them sit too long.
No. Well, that's where they got small beer from too. Same
Yeah,
kind of thing. It was
yeah,
more this keeps us from getting sick from the water sort of thing.
yep.
I
And
have
the
to. I do that when I do living history stuff outside
yeah,
the SBA, but when I do living history demos, I do a
small beer.
beverage demos. So I make a cordial, I make a mead, I don't make a beer because it would require more equipment than I can reasonably have at an event
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to do it over a fire, and I don't know that I really want to do that over a fire.
Yeah, and see that's where my Scadian kind of blood takes over is we don't have a brewing laurel in Eldemere in Ontario.
Mm.
Okay.
And
They had one in Atlantia where it used to be. I'm Middle Kingdom now, but
oh, nice. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a few really good brewers in Atlantia and in the
Yeah.
Mid-Rome. So it's they're passing stuff. They were passing my stuff along around Penzic last year.
Oh,
And
cool.
a
I
lot of
used to end up with an entourage at Penzic because everywhere I went, I always had my bag of goodies, you know.
goodies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I've got a half a dozen wine skins that I picked up at a Renaissance festival.
oh wow.
Yeah,
Don't
and
want to hand them out.
well, yeah, and they look period. They're made of leather. They've got like carved wooden tops, but on the inside they're lined with food grade.
Like a food
Yeah,
grade
grade
plastic.
liner, and
Yeah.
that can be replaced. That you can take it to them and get it replaced if it
Mhm.
develops problems. And there's an actual spigot on the top inside. You've got you can screw down the top, so it doesn't
Yeah.
pop off on you and dump meat everywhere. But yeah,
Oh,
I used to sling those all over myself and just go walking around, and I was like I felt like the Pied Piper of Penzic,
like the pickle guy. Only you got sacks of meat
yeah, like the
around you.
There's
pickle
always
guy.
a pickle guy.
There's always a pickle guy. Yeah.
Our medieval festivals here have a pickle guy too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta have a pickle guy. It's like it's in the rule book somewhere.
it's in the rule book. You need the pickle on the stick. Yeah.
Yeah, you need the pickle on a stick. Well, and right alongside the rule that says if you put it on a stick, people will buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
fair.
and you will. I've proven
That
that.
might puncture the water skin though.
Yeah, it might. It might. But yeah, a girlfriend and I decided to challenge that, and so we took it, and we had a little local Ren fair in Raleigh that used to be at the state fairgrounds, and it was just a small fair, but it was fun. We enjoyed it, and both of us were in cast, and we sat in the middle of the street and put raw turnips, on a stick. And then just sat there going, turnips on a stick. Come get your turnips on a stick. People were paying us, and we'd give their money back because it was a joke, But people actually were ready to spend money for a raw turnip on a stick.
It's a good horse treat, but
Yeah, but not a people treat. I mean, I like turnips, but not raw.
Not raw. No.
Yeah.
Unless you want to lose a tooth.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's not like eating apple, but yeah, it's it is. I think it is a universal truth that if you put it on a stick, people will buy it.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
But yeah, speaking of your brewing demos, that's my next project. Is I have
Those are fun.
spent barrel from my friend at Counterpoint that I'm going to be converting into a period mash tun, so I can do on-site brewing demos.
Nice. Have you worked out how you're going to do that over an open flame, which is what you're going to be doing?
So goal is to learn a little bit more metal smithing and build myself a proper copper kettle.
Okay.
Hmm.
So that'll be the getting right into the handmade craft and an art that I don't know, and we'll see if I can make something that'll hold it reasonably hold about 5 gallons of wort. We'll see.
So let me get this straight. Your hobby is collecting hobbies too?
Yep. Yeah.
Got it.
17
Okay.
hobbies in a trench coat.
Only 17? Yeah, that's amateur.
That's
Yeah,
it.
but he's still young.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
He's
not
got
that
plenty of
young, but
time
yeah,
to
You get
acquire
to
the
a
full
point where they
list.
don't all fit in the trench coat.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, they start falling out with sleeves and pockets
Yeah.
aren't big enough.
They take
And,
over your house.
You just have
oh,
multiple trench coats is all. I
yeah,
mean,
multiple trench coats. I mean,
yeah.
Well,
my wife is right on team Chris. I've got a barrel sitting in my living room right now. So
mhm.
Is that the one you got from the winery?
yeah, it's the one I picked up from Rosewood
Okay.
a few weeks back. So I'm still working out the logistics of getting like 200 liters of meat from all over the kingdom into my house.
You need to coordinate with Kevin. Kevin does that kind of crap all the time.
I do. So my recommendation there to take a little bit of the strain or stress off of the process is to find 2 good buddies that make good mead
Yeah,
and do a collab with them.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
way to go.
This one was kind of me and my hobby brain decides to go, hey, this would be neat. Sandy, do you mind if I spend a few $100s on a barrel? Yeah, sure. And then I put the call out to the Eldemere Brewing Guild, and I'm like, okay, so I have this crazy idea. Let's do a period adjacent mead, and I need as many brewers as I can get to help me fill this. And I had 8-9 brewers on it within 5 minutes, and I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
good.
I guess I'm buying a barrel.
Look
Well,
that
and
way.
hopefully they all make good mead because all it takes is one bad one to ruin the barrel. And that's
Yeah,
very disappointing. And all of us who have done projects like this have had that experience.
and that's always that's kind of on my that's been kind of the gnaw at the back of my brain. It's like, this is my first big thing into barrels, and I know this could go sideways,
Mhm.
and but it's a experimental archaeology. So
Yeah.
But you
Well,
have to do it.
a suggestion that I would offer would be to make sure you have more people making things than the barrel will hold.
will hold, yeah.
And
And
then
I
make
kind of
sure
hedged
they go ahead.
my bets on that one. I used the entire 15 kgs of prize honey, so I've got
Mhm.
40 liters of my own going.
Okay.
Mm.
And then do it as a curated thing. So everybody gets to sample all the other brews, and if one of them doesn't pass muster, it doesn't go in.
Doesn't
But
go
that
in.
person
Yeah,
still gets a full share coming out because you have
yeah,
enough to fill the barrel.
yeah.
So that way people don't feel bad, they don't get left out, but you maintain quality control. It's a
Mhm.
pretty good way to manage a barrel project.
That's a good idea. I should definitely reach out to the guild and start because most of us are pretty much firmly in secondary finishing right now. So it's just a
Mhm.
matter of collecting them and then giving a little sample to all of them and making sure they pass muster.
Right. I'm curious, did you all try to follow essentially the same recipe
Yeah, we
and
followed the
process?
exact
Okay.
same recipe to a T. We just scaled it for the level of competence for the brewers. Like
Okay.
there were some brewers that they don't generally do large batches and
Mm,
aren't equipped for it, but they wanted to be included in it anyways.
sure.
So there are a
That's
couple
cool.
brewers that are only doing like 10 liters because that's what
Okay.
their skill level and their equipment would allow. And then the rest of us are all doing fulls or double batches.
All right. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
That's really cool.
What's
Yeah.
going to be interesting if you haven't done this before is when you sample all these things that were done, at least in theory, to the same recipe and the same process, they're not going to taste alike. Not at all.
And that was the hope too, because everybody we have people from as far, actually I think we even have one Eastern Kingdom person
Nice.
participating,
Oh, really?
and so it's coming in from Montreal.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
And so we all tried to source our local apiaries that we normally use.
Oh,
So now
okay,
we have
cool.
about like 10 different varietals of wildflower honey that are going into this as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, I mean, I do stuff with some very talented brewers who are very, very experienced, and we all do the same recipe. And when we bring them together, oh, you can tell they're very similar, but they absolutely taste different. You know,
Yeah.
even just the process, even if we sourced all the ingredients from the exact same place, the process
just
alone
everybody
or
has-
the equipment alone
And the
makes
water.
a difference.
Yeah, and the water. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just that's one of the really cool things about these types of projects because, you know, they bring all these different elements in and truly it's like the sum of the parts, you know, is greater than the whole
Hmm.
Yeah.
and a lot of fun. I hope it
Yeah.
turns out great for you guys.
I hope it does too. So, and
That's a
trying to
great
plan
project.
on what the next one will be once it's emptied. So, because right now it's in climate control, freshly steamed, just sitting here waiting to be filled. And the winemaker is going to get in touch with me to put me through my paces to make sure I prime the barrel properly, and then then we're off to the races and letting it sit.
Fun.
Cool.
And then get your next one lined up so that
That's it.
you are ready to go when it's actually done, and you're not going to exactly know when that is. So you got to prepare, you know.
Have
Prepare
some stuff
ahead.
in secondary.
Yeah. And the other option too is I can always I'm pretty sure I can twist a few of my local homebrew club to fill it with a beer if that all else fails and another meat
sure.
doesn't end up in it.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it'll get used. I'd like my goal is to try and keep it as a vintage. Like if we could do
Meter wine.
a kingdom mead or wine every year and just keep that thing going for a few years at least, that's my hope.
Well, another
Okay.
idea would be if the winemakers have access to local stuff. Like the firm I used to work at had all kinds of neat stuff like crab apples and raspberries and red currants, and you know, making a big old melt to put in it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Or just a fruit wine compilation.
Or you could
Like
do a Solera.
that's actually an interesting one too. Is doing a Solera. Actually, I got a bottle from Rosewood of their Solera, which is I haven't opened yet, and it's like it was not a cheap bottle, and it's 7 vintages.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 7 years of their mead all blended into this one product. So I'm holding it for a special occasion because it wasn't cheap. I could only buy one bottle.
Yeah.
But lots of cool projects on the go. So I've got still got the bench trials going right now. I got to start a couple more shortly.
And what
So
are you
what are you
doing in your
doing?
bench trials?
Yeah.
Basically, I'm doing a tasting panel of varietal honeys for the SCA for people who want to try different meads and see where different honeys can take them. So I've got my normal wildflower that I use for my beekeeper. I have a meadow foam going, and I have a coriander honey, coriander blossom going, and then I have from Eastern Ontario. I think it's out in Port Hope is where the apiary is. I've got some buckwheat honey and some blueberry blossom honey that I'm going to start another couple, and then it'll be basically taste the source honey and taste the fermented beverage beside it, so people can get a really good idea of what different things do. And me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the tasting experiences is just phenomenal when you get a chance to go somewhere where there's a lot of stuff that you just don't have yourself.
Yeah. And
Like that was a huge takeaway for me from getting my ass down to Mazer Cup and the MeadCon. Just getting to taste stuff that I can't get here.
Or taste other people's things that you wouldn't even think to make yourself. Everybody's got their own creativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's and then the other two that I've got going right now is another batch of the 1555. I took it to one of our competitions, like a arts and science competition, and the tasting panel that was judging that, they the one gentleman, good friend, he's not a huge mead drinker, but he's very particular, and he was one of the judges, and he's like, oh my god, I really like this, and he's bringing it to people in households, like, have you ever, do you like mead? I don't know, I've never tried mead. Oh, I like mead.
Isn't it
Nice.
fun when that happens?
Yeah, so now
Especially when you find someone who says, "Oh, I tried mead and I didn't like it." I'm like,
Here, try
okay,
this.
so
here,
here,
try
try this
this.
anyway, yeah, and see,
Yeah.
if because they're all different. I mean, it's like because they don't realize for whatever reason, it's like it doesn't occur to them that like wine, like beer, like pretty much every other drink except water on the planet, there are variations.
Yeah. And
You know?
well, and a lot of people up here in Ontario got the bad taste of the clay bottle. This is mead, but it's actually braggot, and they were looking for something that
Yeah.
wasn't beer, and all of a sudden now they're turned off for life, right?
Yeah, because Ontario's regulations let you call that mead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Ontario's weird. Yeah, I think I know the brewery you're talking about too.
Yeah. I have a couple bottles that one of my friends in the SCA gifted me and goes, well, I had these from whatever. He goes, maybe you can do some leather work on it, make some nice leather wrap bottles for carrying your water on the fencing lists.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you do fencing too?
Yeah.
Nice. I do full armored combat.
Armored combat. I've suited up once and I do like it. It's just I don't have enough energy to do both at fight practice. So it's
I understand that completely. Yeah, I'm actually not with the SCA. I'm just sort of SCA adjacent. A lot of my friends know a lot of SCA people, but
oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, going full steel's fun. And armor is the
I
great
like
equalizer.
watching. Yeah. I love watching full steel. That's like, those guys are impressive.
Mhm. Yeah,
No.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other, so I'm making a batch of that for Cesare because he's like, I want some mead for camping season. I'm like, okay, I'll make some for camping season. And then we did a impromptu fundraiser for our upcoming reign for our royalty. And so everybody in the SCA who wanted to put something up for auction, and all the money went to support them traveling and doing the things they need to do while they're our king and queen. I put up 12 bottles of mead of whatever they wanted to have. I'll help them develop a recipe and make it for them, and then they have their case of mead. So I'm going to be doing the blueberry meadow sweet again, but I'll
Nice.
be twisting it up a little bit and making it slightly sweeter and adding a bit more spice to it to so it hits both his and hers tastes, because one likes it a little more sweet, the other one likes it a little bit more on the dry side, but they both were on board with the fruit and herb and spice. So yeah, that's what I got on the go so far.
It's really interesting when you can find a combination that works for both people like that, because there's sometimes you have a perception of sweetness that's really not that sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just fascinating what you can do with mead.
Yeah, and it's so it's a lot of interesting projects, and yeah, now I'm getting people asking me how to make, how to start, because I have another SCA friend who's really into woodwork and cooperage.
Oh,
So he's like, I want you to teach me how to make mead because I want to be able to fill the things I make. And I'm like, I can help you with that.
Right.
Yeah. The SCA really kind of taps your creativity really nicely. It's been a godsend for me over the last few years, that's for sure.
That's cool that you got a good group that's helping out. I used to judge at brewing competitions at Penzic. I haven't been in ages now, but it was always interesting to see what people brought.
Yeah.
to see what was in there. And we had this one that was going around, and we're doing the tasting, and I take a sip, and I'm like, oh, so you use this kind of yeast? And what was it? Montrachet yeast, which Montrachet throws a particular flavor note that you can pick up. And it's not bad or anything. It's just distinguishable,
Distinctive.
Yeah. And it's there no matter what. And they're like, how'd you know? And I'm like, well, yeah, I've judged a lot of mead and drunk a lot of mead and been doing this for, 25 years. So, you learn some things as you go. And and they were just stunned. I was like, that's not that big a thing, really. I mean, I'm not even. There's plenty of people that are way better at this than I am.
I'm enjoying playing with a lot more different yeasts than I've been accustomed to, especially with the barrel project, because I leaned on another long-term mead maker in the kingdom who's been making mead for 20 plus years. Pardon me. And we decided on using the Y yeast sweet mead yeast.
Okay.
That was one that he's used for a lot of his period brews that seem to mimic a more period style.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because tasting it out of the carboys, it's like it really does have a unique taste that I'm not used to, because I'm used to using like Lavalin wine yeasts and beer yeasts, fermentus and Voss and things like that. So stretching my legs in the yeast category a bit too, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's amazing how much of a difference the different yeasts can make too.
Yeah, even within like one that was kind of caught me off guard, but in a pleasant way, was the collaboration I did with Counterpoint. When I had done the buckwheat, I made the buckwheat braggot a few times. And that was actually one of my only ones that I actually got the, it'll never happen to you, or it'll happen to everyone. If it hasn't happened to you, you're just not trying hard enough yet. And I had a batch of my braggot go like really south on me.
Ooh.
And I always used Voss. I always used Kveik Voss. And then when we were doing the collaboration, we couldn't get a hold of enough Voss. So we top cropped out of one of his brews that was going, and it was Hornindal. And just the difference between those two yeasts, even though they're in the same family, I'm like, oh my God, like this, like they're both good, but this is great. Like it took it to that next level that I hadn't experienced yet.
That's cool.
That is cool.
And it was sold out in a month.
Well, this is just for all the mead makers out there. This is why you want to do yeast tests with your particular ingredients. Bench trials.
Yeah.
Bench trials, yeah. So I'm going to start playing with other ones that I haven't played with yet, like was it RC212?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And other ones that you guys have mentioned that I've heard you mention on the show. I'm like, yeah, I really need to try these ones. Yep. I've tried the barn burners like EC1118, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really like that one so much, not for what I do.
I have used mine well enough; it doesn't burn through everything so fast. So.
Yeah.
But RC212 can be wonderful, but you really have to pay attention to it.
Pay attention to it. Yeah. No, a friend of mine used to do Jack. That was.
I tried Jack one time. I was unimpressed.
And he was using EC1118, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not really doing it anymore. Here, can you're brewing here?" Gives me a bunch of these packets of yeast and gives me some of his Jack, which still kind of tastes like sweet rubbing alcohol. It's sitting in my fridge, and I'm hoping it ages and gets just a little bit better, but I don't know.
I had one that was kind of gasoline-y. My first mead, and after 3 years, it became drinkable.
Yeah.
I wish
And
I
the-
had saved a bottle of it so I could like go back and evaluate it properly because, yeah.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I have a half a bottle of what he was saying was his best batch, and it is slightly better now that it's, I think, what, 4 years running beer sitting in my fridge, just
Yeah.
slowly. So who knows? When 20-year anniversary, it might be a really, really nice smooth shot. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. Could be. Or find somebody with a still and convert it.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes that works.
Oh God! The minute you said that, Sandy's eyes light up again. She points at me. Her dad.
Am I giving her Are we giving her ideas?
Well, see, her dad. She's Serbian, so she
Okay.
used to make his own Slivovitz and rakia in the
Oh, I
garage.
love
So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've been impaired on Slivovitz before.
Yeah, same.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
yeah, so she's got quince seeds sitting on the counter dry. So she's like, "We should find some quince fruit." I'm like, "Oh dear."
Oh dear, is right.
No, government of Canada, I am not a moonshiner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Personal use only.
Any Canadian ATF type people that are listening, we're just playing. This is
We're
not
just
real.
playing.
This is for research purposes only.
Only,
That's
yeah.
right. Just like all the good distilling channels on YouTube.
Right.
Exactly.
Just talking about possibilities, that's all.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Right? But yeah, that's hilarious. So do you are you involved with a brewing group or anything outside SCA, or is it mainly through
Yeah.
the SCA that you're doing stuff?
Mainly through the SCA, but I am a member of our local home brew club, True Grist. It's been a
Okay.
long-standing group in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, and they're a really good group of guys. A lot of younger, well, not younger, but in my age range, like in their 30s, 40s, early 50s. A lot of the older guys have kind of moved on from the home brewing, but we're getting a bit of a resurgence. We've had quite a few new members recently. And yeah, it's everybody has a good time. I'm horrible at making it to meetings, but I'm active on the Discord, and I'm always there at Christmas to do my part in the bottle share. So
That's good. Hey, you have a brew group. Enjoy
yeah,
that.
yeah, we have a good group.
If I want one, I'm gonna have to start one, and I'm just not sure if there's gonna be enough people. So I got to do some hunting around and talking to folks around here and seeing.
See what the interest is like. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a meadery 30 minutes north of me, so I might be able to organize it around that. I don't know. I'll have to-
Yeah, I know people have been saying that the home brewing's slowing down a bit, and I can kind of see that, but I'm also seeing a bit of a resurgence, at least in this area. There's a lot of young people that are kind of trying to take it up and try it, so it's good.
Well, it's definitely slowing down in the U.S. I don't know
Yeah.
about anywhere else, but
Yeah.
definitely
And-
seeing a decline.
Well, and looking at our homebrew competitions that I've entered in the last year, that I have the few that I've done, we've had quite a few entries. Like, they fill up pretty good, so they're out there. They're still doing it.
Well, that's good.
And we're lucky here too. We have a lot of small microbreweries.
Oh, okay.
We also have the only eco brewery, I believe, in Canada.
Oh,
They
Okay.
literally they had to add legislation because they're like a 1-barrel brew house out of their
Oh, wow.
converted garage. It's 3 guys. They converted their garage into a brew house with a serving window out the
Dang.
Yeah, so they're only open on Saturday afternoons for sales, and
That
that's it.
did change some legislation. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta- What part of Ontario are you in?
I'm in southwestern Ontario. I'm about an hour southwest of Toronto. I'm in
Okay.
Kitchener. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
yeah.
AJ,
So, yeah,
is
we've
that
got,
east or west of you?
I'm Eastern Ontario, but
yeah,
I've got
Oh,
family. I've got family in Hamilton, Burlington, so I'm familiar with a little bit
okay.
east from where he is.
I was just
yeah,
curious because when I go over, last time I went over, I went and visited Monroe Honey, which is in Alveston. It's about,
yeah. That's a few hours from us.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I figured. It was probably 3-4 hours from you guys.
I think it's a few hours from just about everywhere.
Alveston, yeah, it's in the middle
Well, it's
of.
only 30. It's only 30 minutes from Lake Huron and the bridge. So.
Yeah, yeah. I think. Yeah, the meaderies we've got few meaderies in Southern Ontario. There's not many. Um,
There's a couple that are wineries that also do mead that I
yeah,
remember, but I never actually managed to visit any because the last time I went through was on my honeymoon in 2009.
yeah, Rosewood Estates is the one on
Yeah,
the bench in
Yeah.
Niagara. They're a winery and a meadery.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I don't think we managed to get there. The closest we got was a fruit winery called Sunnybrook.
Yep, yeah. There's a lot of really. If you're ever down that way, another really good winery is Organized Crime,
Ooh,
and
okay. I'm making notes of that.
literally just down the road from Rosewood. Like there's a couple really good small boutique wineries on that stretch.
Organized crime's a great name.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, and their wines are fantastic. Yeah,
Nice.
we have Backed by Bees, which is in Burlington.
Cool.
They make some really, really nice meads, and the mead maker and the beekeeper are awesome sauce.
Nice.
They're fantastic guys. There's Circling Hawk in Richmond Hill. They do a bunch of different varietals of fruit meads and things.
I'm so gonna have to get a list from you so I can update the Canadian list.
The Canadian list, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm always behind on that one because basically I just have to hunt them down online.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
then
Hell,
yeah,
I don't even know about most of these, and I'm in the same freaking province.
it's a big province.
it is a big province. Spend a whole day and not even leave it if you're driving in the right direction.
hmm
Yeah, that was our honeymoon.
But yeah, it was what, December, I think we went. So we do an annual event here in our area with Sale. It's a day event feast, fighting tournament for charity and stuff like that. And my Laurel. So in the SCA, there's Laurel's Pelicans and the Chivalry. Laurels are arts masters and Laurels are service masters. And my friend is both my Laurel and my Pelican. So we went on a mead tour and we drove around most of Southern Ontario to pick up mead for this festival in December. So I got a chance to try a few meaderies that I hadn't even seen. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know that there are any near me. I knew about Rosewood, but I never managed to make it there. But
Rosewood and Backed by Bees both deliver in Ontario too. They ship.
yeah,
No, you're gonna have to get that list, AJ.
homework for AJ. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's so hard to. Oh gosh, I have to drink mead. What will I do?
I've had a few of Monroe's, but I had them shipped in rather than
Right.
driving up there. But I will have to actually make a point of going on another road trip a little farther out. There was another one that I got that I ordered. No, Ackroyd's is a honey farm, and he makes his own home brew. He doesn't sell it commercially, but I've had a few of his home brews and they're pretty damn good too.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to remember, I can't remember the name of the other one now that I ordered from, but unfortunately I wasn't really too, like, their peach mead was really, really nice. But their dry traditional, just it seemed a little flat to me. It just didn't have enough. You didn't get a lot of the honey out of it. And I don't know if that
Weird.
was the age but it
Well,
just seemed a little flat.
it's tough to get a lot of honey out of a dry mead, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the typical complaint. They tend to be a little tart. and
Nowhere to
the
hide.
honey gets lost.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really tough to execute well.
I mean, it wasn't a bad mead. It was decent.
Right.
It was
It's just.
I was hoping for a bit more out of it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Wow.
amazing how just a point or two of residual sugar can really do a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
it's
learned that one with my chocolate pear mead because it just didn't taste like anything until there was some back sweetening.
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess there's some flavors you just can't get away from it. You need something in there to kind of help elevate everything and tie it all together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I
Carbonation can help, of course, because
yeah.
that's a transport mechanism for aroma, and it's
Mhm.
more mouth filling, which is another thing that people complain about on dry mead.
So
Mm.
they tend
They
to
can
be
be
thin.
kind of thin, and they can also be pretty hot
Yeah.
if you didn't handle that properly. So you got acid, you got heat, you got low body, and a loss of flavor. That's kind of a lot of things going against it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can
And I mean,
master that though.
yeah, the
Yeah,
same.
when you get them good, it's awesome. It
I've
really
had
is.
some,
But
yeah, I've had some really amazing ones, but yeah, I mean, there's just no place to hide in a dry
no,
trad,
Well, I
and
didn't think I liked
you
dry
gotta know your
meads.
stuff.
I didn't think I liked dry meads until I had a couple at the Mazer Cup there.
Same. I did my first good dry meads were not at the Mazer. They were at I never seemed to get put on dry trad. So, but there was some guys in Royal Oak that was the Cellarmans that those guys did dry meads and they had some really good ones. And I was like, wow, I like dry mead. This is amazing because I hadn't found one I'd liked before that.
Yeah,
But
I'd like to find a couple dry ones because I enjoy, like, I like sweet. I'm not huge, like, crazy sweet. I'm more of a mid sweet kind of guy, but I do like dry as well. So trying to find something
yeah,
that's a little on the drier side would be awesome.
I
I
really
know
like a nice off dry.
low
Yeah,
vineyards.
like 10 points of gravity kind of thing.
Yeah, Low Vineyards is Maryland, right?
Yep, we
Yeah,
had her on the
that's
show.
yeah,
Her
we
name is
had her on the show
Rachel,
a while back. Yeah, she
and
was
she makes a couple of dry meads that are quite nice. So that
yeah,
would be
they
one.
are.
If you take a look at it, you might want to see if you can
Yeah,
get
you
a
might
hold
want to
of
see
some
if
of that.
you got somebody on this side of the line that can get you some.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a couple of mules I can tap into.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I got all my flying bee honey over.
Oh,
Saved me a
okay.
saved me a ton in shipping. Now
Oh, I'll bet.
the beekeeper did reach out to me and said, "Hey, we can ship to you if you need to, if you ever wanted."
Oh, good. I didn't
Yeah,
know they shipped to Canada.
yeah, I didn't realize you would either. I did get a sampler from
Be seasonal.
no, from the World Honey Exchange.
Oh, really? They have samplers. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I got 6 of them. Was the Moyombo, the Icky Thicket, the Hawakan Forest Honey, a couple of, yeah. And I finally cracked them open to try them, and I'm like, ooh, I got so many ideas now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
The
the thing.
Atigi thicket is so smoky.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like that. I'm thinking I could make something Scotch adjacent, like
Oh
Scotch.
yeah, totally. I mean, I think there's definitely a use for that honey. One of the things I do wonder about that honey though is what does it actually taste like? Because I'm pretty sure that smoke is from harvesting, not from
Yeah,
the honey,
not
not
from the
from that.
meat. Yeah.
And I'd like to know what it actually tastes like without the smoke.
Yeah.
I'll have to taste it again, but I think I don't know if I like it had that kind of almost had like a little bit of a back note of like that like eucalyptus, like that mentholy kind of
Mm,
Yeah.
hmm.
flavor to it. But yeah, you really like the smoke was like right up front. It was
Hmm.
like, oh, this is smoky, but I like it. So,
Oh yeah, there's definitely good places you can use it. I mean, just think if you're like making a Manhattan kind of thing, tart
mhm,
cherry smoke. Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
good.
Smoked
Getting
Manhattans are really awesome too. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
getting creative juice flowing.
there's, I mean, you got to taste those honeys. You got to smell them, and
Yeah.
then go from there. It's
Well,
like you make beer, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you said earlier you've got some coriander blossom.
Yes.
All right. So I
Yeah.
made
And that's actually,
a wit style braggot.
Yeah, and I think I know where you were going with this because you were talking about it on a podcast. Was the Belgian braggot?
Yeah, I did a wit style Belgian braggot.
Yeah,
So
I was thinking
use the
of
coriander
mimicking.
blossom instead of coriander, and
Yeah.
it worked great. It really worked
Yeah,
great.
that's
So,
that. I was telling a friend of mine on Facebook chat the other day. I said, "So, what do you think of this?" And I was like, Belgian wit braggot with coriander honey." And he's like, "Oh, that sounds like that would be interesting." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to try that for my next braggot."
yeah, that's a great way to use that honey, because it is a really, really powerful and distinctive honey. And
Yeah.
I think I've made a trad. I sent it into a competition once, and I got some really negative feedback from the judges, such as, "Why would you ever make a mead with this honey?" Yeah. Nothing about the quality of the mead.
That's rude.
The mead,
Yeah,
it was just the flavor kind of threw him off.
it just threw them off,
Yeah.
and so
if you don't like coriander,
well, that's the thing. See, it's a love it or hate it kind of deal. So you got to use it in the right place.
And luckily, I'm not one of those people with the whole coriander and cilantro things. So geez.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I understand those people though, because I've eaten coriander in flour, and that does taste like soap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I definitely see that too. I can understand where they get that from, especially like I'll get it if someone goes like extremely heavy-handed with it in the cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll get the hints of it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see where these people are coming from. Where they're like, no, I can't eat it because it tastes like I've got a Dove bar in my mouth.
I think coriander, you could use it in a savory mead.
Mm-hmm.
So coriander, rosemary, oregano, something like that. That'd be kind of interesting.
Gee, I'll have to. Oh shoot, what's his name? Guy makes a. He lives up northeast, and he makes a root vegetable mead that's really good.
A what?
A root vegetable mead. We've had him on the show, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, and I was just going to look because I just saw him. He was posting in one of the groups.
You don't mean Dan McNevin, do you?
McNevin, yes, thank you.
Okay.
It was on the edge of my brain, but yeah, he just actually was. He actually posted. I'm in a homesteading and farming group with him and Tom and a bunch of other people, and it's actually some of the Australians are in there too. But we're always talking about farming or beekeeping or something. And Dan got on there and he's like, "Well, time to get the garden going, and I've got to make another batch of my root vegetable mead, kind of thing." So,
yeah, that was really good.
It really was. Yeah.
I was totally blown away by how it surpassed my very low expectations.
Yeah, I know. I was very hesitant, and it was like, I'm gonna give this a benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna keep an open mind, and oh my god, that's amazing!
It was really good. I know.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've noticed up here, at least in Ontario. I don't know if AJ can attest to it too, but a lot of the mead makers I know here and things that I've seen in competition, people don't tend to go as off the wall as some of the U.S. mead makers do.
Well, we're crazy down here. You know that, right?
We're getting jaded.
Yeah, we're bored.
So
we
we're
got
looking for new stuff.
Yeah, try different things. Yeah.
Well, there's also more access to weird and wonderful honeys and stuff too. It's harder to get stuff like that here.
Yeah.
And a bigger community pushes the envelope a little further too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the States does have like 10 times the population of Canada, so it's not really a surprise that it's
Yeah, exactly.
Got to try.
And we don't do quite as much monocropping, so it's a little less likely for us to have.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little less likely for us to have as many varietals.
Unless
Well,
you're
it's funny,
talking
I'm
about
not so much
canola.
varietals. I'm thinking about like the weirdo mouse.
Yeah, weird
Yeah.
metals.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I
Yeah.
put Chevette parts in my Weirdomels.
I've heard.
Hey, there's always a disclaimer if you can be arsed to read the bottle.
There were car
So,
parts.
I mean, you do a lot of stuff outdoors, right? Do you do some foraging as well? Are there certain ingredients in your area that you like to go out and find and include in what you're making?
I don't generally forage for my meads. I have a big blackberry bush in my backyard that I planted quite a number of years ago that I'll do a blackberry mead out of. But there are quite a few things in our area that we can forage for. A lot of wild hops, wild grapes.
Wild
Uh,
grapes, yeah.
what's the other? But a lot of vegetal stuff too. Like I go out fiddlehead picking in the spring, which is
Mhm.
fast. Um, as
Does your
well as
area have a lot of feral apple trees?
there are, but you kind of have to go hunting for them because a lot of them are on the outskirts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in Kitchener, a lot of the heirloom fruit trees and things in the parks, they've been knocked down or cropped out for something else.
Mm-hmm.
I think mainly because the cities in the region don't really want to have to clean up after them.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're in farm country, we're in Mennonite country. It's easy to go 5 minutes
Yeah.
outside the
Fruit
city.
stands everywhere, and
Yeah,
And
oh
you can
yeah.
actually grow peaches
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah, we get lots of really nice peaches in our area, strawberries, um, like amazing strawberries in our area.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I mean, I'm partial to my local strawberries because local, but I don't eat any peaches that don't come from Ontario.
Mhm.
And since they don't make them here, I gotta take them from Niagara area.
Yeah, yeah. The minute you get a little bit farther south, they're a little bit more.
yeah, because AJ and I were talking about that, and I grow peaches where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm growing
And
zone, I think 5A or something,
yeah,
and
I'm
they don't
6B,
quite grow
so
here yet.
yeah,
A
6B
little
is
more global warming.
just inside the envelope. So I've
Yeah,
been looking at pawpaw trees. I'm thinking I'm going to get a pair of pawpaw trees and plant those.
I'm wondering if I'm a little too far north for that because that might
Well,
act.
what's your growing zone?
Oh, dear Lord, I'm not a
You
gardener.
don't know?
Let me check.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, so on the topic of peaches, though, so I've got a guy local to me here who has a couple of peach trees, and he says they do really well. And my climate's a lot colder than any of your climates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you're in 5B, Christian.
5B,
Yeah.
what am I saying, 5A?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you might be on the edge, but it's worth a look. I mean, it's
Yeah.
easy enough. Just go on one of the big plants or
Yeah,
tree
that's
sites,
funny because
and they'll tell
Ottawa's
you.
5B as well.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try pawpaws. That's one I
Oh,
have.
me too. I've read about so much about them, and I've never even seen one. And they do grow in Michigan. I mean, it's actually like a thing in Michigan.
For me, it's
And
service berries.
Yeah, we have service berries too. I actually have a
So
small
do we,
stock.
but I've never found them.
yeah,
They apparently grow wild around here. I've never once found them, and I got a
Oh, I,
friend who
I
put
don't
a lot
think
of
I've
bush
ever
last
found.
year.
I don't think I've ever found them wild. We have a small stunted tree in our backyard that we put in there years ago. And stupid me, because I'm not a gardener. So we come home with this tree many, many, many moons ago, and I accidentally snapped the leader off of it,
Oh
bringing it home.
no.
But not knowing a damn thing, we planted the tree anyways. And actually, from time to time, I will get a handful of service berries off of it.
you could do like Rob Barnhart does. He just saves from year to year to year until he
Yeah,
has
That's what I'm doing with my black currants.
yeah.
I get a
freeze them.
handful a year, and I just keep throwing them in the freezer, and eventually I'll make a meat out of it.
Yeah, he had what was it? They were some kind of special raspberry or something. I'm sure he'll pop up on the chat here
Yeah,
and tell us.
that's another one we get a lot of in Kitchener Waterloo. If you know where to look, is wild raspberries.
Yeah.
Okay.
They grow all over the place.
Do you get the red ones or the black ones?
Both.
Yeah, we get those here too.
Mostly red, but there are a few that are black as well.
The black ones
The
are
black
so
ones
nice
are
and musky.
absolutely the best. Yeah,
Oh yeah, if I could ever find enough, and although they've got the longest thorns.
they do. They're not as bad as blackberries, but yeah, they're pretty
I've never
wicked.
encountered blackberries. My worst experience. I think I still have scars from gooseberries though.
Yeah,
let
well,
me
the
just
black
tell you,
raspberries are much worse.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
you want the worst kind of thorns though is prickly pear. Do not pick the fruit without gloves on.
Oh my god, no!
I did
need to
not know
pop
this the first.
those
Yeah,
gloves.
I did not know this the first time I did that, and I was picking those dang microscopic spines out of my fingers for days.
It's like anytime I've done long fiber bondo. Ugh.
Oh,
Oh,
fiberglass.
Rob is saying it
Fiberglass.
was purple and yellow raspberries
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Yellow raspberries are awesome.
are
Oh,
awesome. Yeah, but boy, you never find them.
no,
I mean,
I'll
every now and then I'll see yellow raspberries at a farm stand or something, but
yeah, or in the
You kind of have
grocery
to
store.
buy the bush and make them yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like white currants. I got a friend who's got like 2 branches in their currant bush that are white currants, and like you never see those anywhere.
They have a
Yeah,
multi-currant tree or bush.
I have one I planted
Ooh.
last year, so I'm hoping
Okay.
it's gonna
yeah.
do
My
well. We'll see.
my Laurel has a bunch of red currants and black currants and other forageables in his backyard that he said
Mm.
I'm more than happy to go picking this year.
Oh, there you
Ooh,
go.
nice.
Yeah.
Always
Just
good
got to
to have
get
a
there before
friend
the
with
birds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Well,
the
that's
birds
what he
care
said. He's
much
like,
for red currants.
get to them before
Black
the birds.
currants, they don't eat very much, but red currants, they love red currants.
Yeah.
They're not
Maybe
as
it depends on
tannic.
your birds.
Well, maybe. I don't
Because
know.
I never had to fight the birds for the ones at the farm.
Yeah.
So
Well,
so
should be
I'll be spending a lot of time in his backyard this summer, I think.
Ah, that's great.
I'm currently
Thanks, my Laurel,
propagating a
supporting
bunch
my
of
brewing habit.
You're currently what, Kevin?
I'm propagating a bunch of wine, some wine grapes
Oh, nice.
for a friend who said they want to start growing grapes. So I've got 3 different varieties that are currently rooting. So
Yeah.
hopefully there'll be enough of them that root well enough that I can put them out and then hand them off this fall.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a couple clippings from someone in Guelph that we got. We were allowed to just take what we wanted for free
Nice.
of fresh hops and champagne grapes and Concord grapes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I tried to get them to go, and they didn't go, unfortunately.
Oh, that's
Reach
too
out to them again and see if maybe I could do a few more clippings this year. But I ended up doing a champagne grape piment with the grapes we got from them, and those bottles didn't last long at events.
bad.
Concord grapes will grow around here. I know that because there's some growing on a hydro pole where I used to work. But the wild grapes that are mostly seed and sour make a friggin' amazing mead.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend a bit more time now that the weather is warming up and rehone my foraging skills and go poke it around.
Yeah, same. I've got my little foraging bag, and I'm gonna go wandering a property with the dogs and see
And
what
your
I can
guide to
find.
edible plants.
Yeah, and my guide to edible plants.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some
I got my
medicinal stuff I want to hunt for.
Childhood
That
Bible.
yeah.
I got my Ontario guide to wild edibles and my mushroom foraging guide.
Got
So,
that too. My mushroom book.
Oh,
'Cause,
nice.
boy, you got to be careful with those.
I
That's
only
the
know
I'm
two, and they
100. The only ones I'm 100% around are morels, but
yeah, I have a few good bushcraft buddies that really know their mushrooms, so I'll take them along with me.
I
probably
only
a
know
good idea.
2, and I know that they don't have any doppelgangers that are bad for you. So I'm happy with those.
It seems like most of them. There's like the one you can eat
Yeah.
and the one that'll kill you if you eat it. It's like
Puffballs have no nasty cousins,
no,
No,
they don't,
and
and we
neither
get
do Shaggy
puffballs
Mane.
all over here.
we do too. Occasionally, you'll be walking down a random path, and there'll be like 3 or
Size of
4
a
of them
soccer ball,
hanging
yeah.
out. Yeah, and it's
They're
like,
great
okay,
bread and butter.
do we take one home, grill it on the barbecue?
Mm-hmm. As long as they're not starting to turn yellow, they're amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
and you can make mead out of those too. You
Yep.
know, there was
They do get a weird candy like scent to them after when you dry them.
yeah.
Oh,
So it's not
There's been a bunch
surprising that
of
you'd try to make mead from them.
yeah. There's been a bunch of people that have made candy cap was like
Yeah, candy cap.
Tom made a mushroom mead, and then everybody was making mushroom meads. Yeah,
I'm not sure I'd want to eat a puffball mead, but you know.
No.
I
Ugh,
don't know.
that sounds terrible.
that,
Yeah.
They're great in spaghetti sauce though.
yep.
But I challenge somebody to do it and make it good.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Whitey,
it's there now.
Whitey, he's calling you out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Rob is like he's got 3 white currant bushes, 4 pink
Yep.
currants, 1 red, 4 black, and just got 4 more gooseberry bushes.
Oh wow.
Jeez. Yeah. And he says the only mushrooms he eats says Pennsylvania Dutchman on the side of the can.
Well, they are dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh
You
yeah,
can get
very
into
much so.
all sorts of trouble.
Even
And
when you do, sometimes they can get you. My dad has been foraging for mushrooms for, he had been doing that for 70 years or so and never had a problem. And then one year, I don't know, it's probably 8, 10 years ago, he suddenly ended up in the hospital and doctor's like, it's the mushrooms. And after that, he wouldn't touch them, except unless they were store-bought ones, which obviously those aren't going to kill you. But it was wild
Yeah, I mean,
because
you can get indigestion. You can get all sorts of stuff that you can get over.
yeah,
But the dangerous ones, you won't
Yeah.
even know you're dead until it's too late because it
Yeah.
takes 2 weeks to kill your liver.
yeah.
Yeah, one of the fungus I actually do want to try and make a mead out of, just because it's a bushcraft thing, is chaga.
Oh yeah.
Chaga.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. It doesn't really taste like much, though, does it?
It's got a earthy kind of woody taste to it. It's very unique, but
Mm-hmm.
and it starts fires good too. So
Okay.
it's mainly used as make chaga tea.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people in the bushcraft and outdoor community will also use it as a tinder, or as a to hold a spark to start a fire.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that would work.
Bushcraft fascinates me, but I haven't really actually had a chance to try my flint.
Yeah, I've read books about it, but I
Yeah,
still
same.
get out and like do stuff with it, and that's another thing entirely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I want to wander all over through my woods out back and the pasture and that, and it's kind of I've also got to get a sense of it because I'm doing a permaculture project here, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, I just in fact I've got to get cracking on my darn permaculture course so I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Are you gonna do any of the hugel culture, the German
So I want
mound
to try
ceremony?
that.
Swedish, actually, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Hugo culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you make mounds of stuff that rots, and it makes heat while making nutrients, and it keeps your stuff warm, and you grow
Oh
stuff in
yeah,
hill.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally want to try that, but I don't own my garden, so it makes it a little more difficult.
Well, I've
Yeah.
got
So
3 or 4 bins that my dad put together out of scraps of this and that and was using as compost, so I can just sling everything in there and, it'll do the same thing.
well, the Swedes, what they do is they take a stack of 3 or odd numbers that make a pyramid, a stack of logs,
Mm.
and make a pyramid out of it, and then they put soil and compostable material on top of that. And as
Oh,
the logs rot, they retain moisture and attract insects and invertebrates that break it down, keep
right.
all that moist, and then the roots grow down into that substrate. So they
Mhm.
don't need to water it as much, and then it's elevated so they can harvest the food a little bit more easily.
And it also keeps it warm because of the biological processes happening inside the hill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little, but it's all brown, so there isn't really a lot of nitrogen decomposition.
Yeah, okay,
Because
fair.
there isn't any green material in there to heat it. So it
Right.
really doesn't do much to keep it warm unless you put other material in there with it. And that's not typically the way they do it. So I have done that, and now what I'm doing is I use wood chips instead. I put them in my raised bed, so I fill the raised bed 1/2 to 2/3 full of wood chips, and then I put my soil on top.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of did
And
the same thing in one of my garden beds. I took a bunch of rotting like logs and limbs from neighbors that had trimmed their trees down,
Right.
and then kind of laid them into the bottom of the garden, and then added more detritus and rottable materials, and then built my soil on top of that.
right.
And I don't think we were never short of zucchini or radishes that year. Those,
Yeah.
those plants went absolutely nuts. It was crazy.
That's
And
like in your neighborhood when the neighbor sees you coming with another zucchini that
They run
does
away.
not run out. And
Or-
I tell you, did not get on the property. Do not come in here.
Yeah. We used to have to sneak up on, you'd wait till they go to work and then go leave them on their front porch.
leaf on the
Yeah.
forward.
No,
The gourd
no
fairies
more
come again.
zucchini. Yeah.
Where do these butternut squash keep coming from?
I like butternut
Luckily,
squash.
you can
You
keep
don't have to
those
give those
overwinter.
away. They keep forever. I've still got
Oh,
6
yeah.
on my steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I got to throw a pumpkin out because it's starting to go gunky.
Yeah. Yeah. Those and spaghetti squash, man, they keep like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those hard ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and we're gonna. I haven't done too much gardening in the last couple of years, so I think it's time to revitalize the beds and put a few things in there for this year.
Yeah, I got to get cracking with that. If I can just get caught up on the stuff happening inside the walls of the house, go
Yeah,
outside
that
the
too.
walls.
Well,
I've got so
you
much hard work to do.
gotta set your priorities.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so much yard work to do.
Well, that's the problem now. You got acreage, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, just the front yard alone is like 2 acres, and I've got a whole bunch of those feral apple trees AJ was talking about that need pruning, and yeah. So it's
I
just
finally got all my pruning done for the year, so I'm happy.
I need
Grapes
to find more
and apples all done.
grapes.
I
I
need to
got
find more
grapes. I
apples to
think I'll.
prune because the rabbit likes the twigs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, they love them.
Yeah, my cousins are all after me to give them the apple wood after I prune the trees.
Mhm.
They
Yep.
want to use it for smoking. And I'm like, yeah,
Of
you can have whatever
course.
we don't keep, because I'm gonna chop up a bunch of it for John to put into his stash for smoking because I got a bunch of stuff.
I have a friend who has a chainsaw that he uses vegetable oil instead of bar oil, specifically so that it doesn't screw up the wood when he wants to use it for smoking.
That's smart.
Oh, so he's got a chainsaw dedicated specifically for the smoking wood.
Yeah, he's got a food grade chainsaw. Yep.
Well, I have a chainsaw on a stick.
Chainsaw on a stick.
Yeah,
We
I
just have a
do
saw
too.
blade
It's
on a
just
stick.
yeah, you can switch out the chainsaw
Like an
with
electric one?
I think it runs on gas. I'm not
Okay.
sure. John's
So
got
it's a
it.
little baby one then.
It's a miniature chainsaw. So I mean the bar on it is
Okay.
not that long, but
Right.
it's big
Yeah.
enough to cut, like your average
For limbing.
branch. Yeah, for
Sure,
limbing it's
sure.
great. And you can switch the head out so that it has like a cutting head on it that is for different things, So the
Yeah.
chainsaw
Okay.
we got branches, but the cutting thing is like, like slashing down stuff out back, and it's just like a weed eater on steroids. But
We've got one like that too, but it's like a Sunjo battery powered one. It's got the
yeah,
room.
I don't know if his is electric or if it's gas. I don't know. I think it's probably electric. I mean, it would make more sense. But yeah,
Yeah,
anyway.
my friend's got the weed whacker with the circular saw blade.
Oh yeah, we got one of
Yeah.
those. Those are great.
They're great.
Yeah, I like using those. I like using those on the autumn olives because it's like die.
For when it's just a little too big for the bush hook.
Yeah.
What's an autumn olive?
Autumn olive is it's an invasive plant that the DNR was recommending people use for, like landscaping and erosion control and blah blah blah. It seems like erosion control gets all the blame for everything, but that was how we ended up with kudzu in the South. But it turns out that at least in this part of Michigan, it is invasive, and so you plant one and you get 4,682 of them, and they're everywhere, and they won't die, and you can't kill them. And the only way to kill them is in the spring before the sap starts to rise. You cut them down and then paint the stumps with concentrated Roundup. And yeah, it's not
Sounds
my
like trying to get rid of Manitoba maples.
yeah, it's
or
not
in
my
our
favorite
case, it's
method of getting rid of
buckthorn.
something, but it works, you know.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I'm in the process of trying to do that because it's literally taking over the yard. I mean, like all the landscape, they're just covered with this stuff. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
You know, the chat we've got. I've been told the autumn olive berries taste like wild berry bubble gum. That's interesting. They do have berries on them. I'll have some out in the back field that I'm not cutting down right now. But
I wonder if you're talking about buckthorn.
no, it's autumn olive.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got Russian olives
they've
here.
got berries too. The birds love them. That's why we end
yeah.
up with them everywhere because they keep replanting them.
Well, exactly, and that's part of the problem with these too. Is they have berries, the birds love them, and yeah, they spread them around. So it'll be a constant battle, but at least I'll get ahead of the game, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll be easier to do something with them. But what we got some Nathan questions, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
of course we do.
I think we've dealt with
I'm important enough to get Nathan questions. That's all.
Yes, you are.
All right, let me see here. All right, as an outdoor enthusiast, have you found enjoyment in foraging for mead ingredients? I think we already kind of covered that.
Yeah.
So that was accidental on my part. Sorry, Nathan.
Kevin's borrowing your brain, so it's okay. Never mind. Just
is braggot making in your mead experience an easy transitional point for you, based on your interest in history and craft beer?
Yeah, actually, I think it is. For me, I find while I enjoy making the beers, I haven't really delved too much into the historical beers as much, and the braggots just a really, really nice kind of go-between. And it kind of I don't know if for other people if it's this way, but I found with the braggots, they tend to they come out easier. It's, you're doing a little bit of work with the brewing, which you wouldn't normally, those added steps. But yeah, it's given me a lot of really neat ideas and where to look for more historical braggots. I know I haven't been able to find too many of them, but they are in there. So I enjoy braggots. I really do. I know for some people it's kind of they're on the fence. They don't really, it's not their bag. They're either beer lovers or mead lovers or, one or the other, not both, but I quite enjoy them. So.
Okay. Let's see. Are there any meads in your current development that were inspired by interests in medieval arts and armor, Scotch, or other interests in spirits that you've made?
So like influenced by.
Yeah, so I think it's really two questions, effectively. So the first one is inspired by interest in medieval arts and armor.
Arts and armor. There, I haven't really seen too much, like, as far as like armoral or like manuscript, like pictures or anything. No, not particularly. Mainly, it's written manuscripts where I get a lot of my inspiration and gusto from when it comes to playing with the historical meads. I love reading the recipes, and I'm horrible at Latin and all those other ancient languages. So it's really nice that I have access to already translated material.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I know there are some depictions where they'll show, but they don't really show clearly in those pictures exactly like what it is. It's more just like process. You'll see the brewer around the mash tun and the fire going, or the beekeepers collecting their nectar, and like very basic, kind of more instructional pictures. Not so much like you can clearly see that these are the ingredients. At least none that I've found so far. So
Well, they didn't have photography then, so that was probably
that's it. Yeah, it was all written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody had to have artistic skills to sketch out all the ingredients and such.
And have you seen some of the manuscripts with some of the depictions of
Right,
things?
exactly.
A lot of creative license.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does get pretty creative. Have you picked up the book Welcome Mead?
I have them both. I bought them
Okay.
both right after I listened to the podcast.
Okay, so you
Oh,
got
good.
Gold Sweeten and Snaring then, right?
I got them both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good, because Welcome Mead is great, except that at least from an SCA standpoint, they're out of period.
They're out of period. Yeah.
But Gold Sweeten and Snaring, not so much.
Not so
that
much.
goes up,
And
that goes up to Elizabeth I, which known world history ends right after that, right?
yeah. It's 1600s ish. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're into cider and Perry, she's got a cider and Perry book out as well.
I've been meaning to really try. I've done a few ciders to mixed results. Some of them came out really good, and others I was not so happy with.
Yeah.
But I've always really enjoyed Perry, so
Me
I
too.
would love to try and make my own Perry at some point in time.
Well, and her cider and Perry book is in Britain goes up to 1700.
Yeah. It's the other two that I have that I mainly work from is I do have a copy of A Sip Through Time.
Yeah, which is out of print now, I believe.
It's been out of print for many, many years, and I had a Scadian friend poke me on Messenger and said, "Hey, I've got all these brewing books, and I want to give them to someone who will actually use them."
And you're like, "Oh,
And
shucky darns!" Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, send them. What do you want?" Well, just send
Yeah,
me a
right.
bottle of
What can I
something
do
at some
for you?
point in time. And so I ended up with a very, very pristine copy of A Sip Through Time.
Oh,
Nice.
that's amazing.
And then the one that I've done most of my medieval works through was a copy of a Complete Anachronist magazine.
Yeah.
And that's where I've done a couple of my forays into the historicals, was through that, my manual, because that was the first one I had acquired through the SCA
Right. Yeah.
backlog. So that little pamphlet and the guide to beer making, and I was like, okay, how many books can I buy?
Right.
My shelf's getting a little overbeared. I've got a bunch of I actually got a book for Christmas on farmhouse brewing, like traditional farmhouse brewing techniques. I'm trying to remember. It's a modern book, but researched for old techniques. And another gentleman that I follow is the Nordic brewing. I got his book for Christmas, Viking Age Brews. So yeah, like starting to dip my toes into more trying to do things in traditional methods with traditional vessels.
Okay, so another one to look at is Ancient Brews, Patrick McGovern, the booze archaeologist.
Yeah.
And Ancient Wines,
Okay.
also by McGovern.
That'll be definitely my next steps in the quest for medieval brewing knowledge, is to actually start building and procuring kit that will allow me to ferment, make, boil in a more traditional fashion or period fashion.
That's the hard part, is if you're doing it to where you want to demonstrate the techniques, then you have to get kind of creative. I mean, I will make those ancient recipes, but I'll use modern equipment. So obviously I'm not out there demoing that, though. I'm, when I do a mead making demo, then I've got jugs and jars and whatnot,
Yeah, and that's where I'm at, is I'm recreating the method, the recipes as closely as I can using modern equipment.
Yeah.
So I did.
Hey, yes, they used crocks, but glass is easier to clean.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Have you got a copy of Digby?
No, I don't have a copy of Digby. That's the one
You
I
need to
don't.
get, yeah, you need to get, and you can actually just download Digby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
out,
think
it's
yeah,
not copyrighted. It's
yeah.
so it's out of copyright. But
Although
if
it's
you
all in
want an
Old
actual,
English, so
yeah,
you do have
well,
to.
no, it is and it's not. I mean, there's a lot of people that have gone in and updated that with
Well,
the
yeah, and
language
that's
to make it readable.
what the one that I'm poking through right now is the Olaus Magnus's encyclopedia. It's the history of the Northern people. And that's where I got I got it through the pamphlet through the complete anachronist, but I went online and found the manuscripts uploaded and most of it translated. There's still bits and pieces that haven't been because they're more works of love than works of money, so they kind of get done by scholars as need be.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
he has a lot of chapters and encyclopedia pieces about brewing and mead making and processes and things. So I've been poking through his stuff, and that's it's fascinating, like what they would do and how they would do it. And yeah, it's neat. And then trying to recreate it on your own, knowing
Yeah.
full well, like knowing what we know about microbiology and safety and health and everything, and going, okay, so I'm going to start a fire in my fire pit in the backyard, and I'm gonna brew this thing in a handmade copper kettle,
With a chicken leg in
and
it.
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
See how it
And I'll just chuck that piece of bread in there and we'll let her
stuck
go.
that piece of bread in there. Yeah, and that was kind of like where where that's why with the barrel project, it's period adjacent. Like we used modern equivalents to what
Yeah.
So instead of using chucking bread in there, we used nutritional yeast,
Yeah.
things like that, just so it's like easily procurable. We can all do it standardized, and it's as close as we're going to get it without accidentally making someone ill.
Right. Yeah.
If it
It's
goes
like,
weird.
because there are recipes that say, and then throw in chicken bones, and stuff like that. And it's like,
Yeah, or a chicken leg or whatever. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
a friend of mine who was SCA had to judge one of those, and he's like, "Nope, not doing it. Sorry, you
Not
can't make me."
yeah.
I actually did the clear it with an egg one time, and it does work.
That
Yeah,
worked.
I've heard that, and I've heard that it works actually quite
It
well.
actually works really well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was surprised. I sat there. I'm sitting on the floor outside the glass. I had a 5-gallon glass carboy, and I mixed up the egg because you do it like you're gonna scramble it, so you just mix it all up and then just chuck it in there, and the sucker just spread out like an octopus, and just went
Glommed onto everything.
all the way down to the bottom and took everything with it. And it was like, okay, that's great. Now what?
Yeah. Did they pasteurize in this recipe?
No. But yeah, and then there's the what was the other one that floating an egg.
Yeah, that one
Indicator of your
I
system
Yeah, it's
gravity.
your hydrometer.
Yeah. It's a
as a
hydrometer, yeah.
Does
and
your egg
that's
float? Does your
that
egg
one
sink?
I've read. That one I've read many times in a lot of different recipes about floating the egg. I haven't actually done it. Uh,
Yeah, they use that one for soap making too, to float it in your lye
yeah.
water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, to check how the what is it, the alkalinity or whatever, like, or
Mm-hmm.
the
It's more checking the concentration of the lye in your water, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you're checking this because the specific gravity of the liquid to see.
Too many hobbies.
Right. Yeah. Too many hobbies. But yeah, what's always fascinated me with the historical recipes is, and this happens when we do historical foodways. The group that I did living history with, we also would put on like a medieval feast,
yeah.
and you look at that and you go, I don't know if I want to use this and this and this together. That sounds gross. And yet,
And yeah,
you don't realize it that I mean, they had different tastes then, and so
yeah.
the combinations that they did were things that we look at and go, I don't know about that. And it just, and then you do it and you're like, oh hey,
wow, this is
this is
like
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, the food, I will say, the food is a big draw too. It's the SCA there, especially in our area. We have some amazing cooks and cheesemakers,
Oh,
and
nice.
like, and one a good friend that lives in Guelph, his thing is cheese and sausages.
Oh darn!
And,
See, that just sucks to
Mhm.
have a friend like that.
yeah. So, and actually, yeah, speaking of the feasts, I'm stewarding one coming up on Saturday. We have an evening event. We're trying to reinvigorate one of the smaller groups in the area. So we're doing a Lent-based feast.
Hmm.
So no meat, or like, well, Lent is in
Fish instead of
period.
meat.
In periods. So yeah, we're gonna have fish and we're gonna have cheese and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no pork, no sausages, no beef, and it's yeah. And the lady that's running our feast, this is her first foray into being a feastocrat and designing the menu and everything. And I think we're going to have a fantastic time on Saturday night. So yeah.
I remember going to one back in Atlanta when I still lived down in Atlanta, down in North Carolina, and I was in Windmaster Hill was the area, and they had a feast, and I took my daughter, who was at the time was like 8 or 9 years old, and they were doing vivats at the feast. My
Mm.
daughter thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Boy, she's
Yeah.
up on the table with her mug in her hand going, Vivat! Vivat!
Yeah.
This little kid. Yeah. Oh my God. It was crazy. It was just so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a group with a huge labor of love, right? Everybody does what they.
Oh yeah. We
Yeah.
one year at Penzic, I brought and this is the whole historical, or old-timey food on new-timey stuff. I had
Mhm.
a camp kitchen, and it's a Cabela's thing, and it folds up and folds into a zip-up container that's about the size of a pack and play.
Yeah,
Nice.
seen
You know,
those.
yeah, and when you unfold it, it's got a sink, it's got shelves, it's got storage areas. It's just awesome sauce. It's got a little prep area, and all that. So I'm making like fettuccine Alfredo and and all my campmates are going, dude. I
Yeah,
ended up cooking the entire week, and I'm like, that was not the plan.
that was not the plan. Yeah.
But they were all like, but Vicky, your food is so good. I'm like, crap. I gotta start cooking.
You were competent.
I
You
know,
were
right? I gotta start cooking
confident, right?
badly, like burn some things, and then maybe they'll leave me alone for a while. Oh, it was so funny because they're like, because I literally had like a huge cooler full of all the things, and I was making, this and that and the other. I made risotto with parmesan, and we had fish, and just all kind of stuff, and my
Yeah.
campmates are like, crap, I've been eating like rice
I,
and beans for less.
yeah, it's like we've got the side kicks and the cans of stew, and we're like, oh my god.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, yeah, we do. I try to do a lot of like when it comes to the historical cooking, or at least historical adjacent cooking, I do because my persona is Serbian.
Ah, okay.
So I tend to do a lot of like wrapped things and chivap and like hand rolled sausages and
Mhm.
cabbage roll type things, and they
Nice.
tend to go over quite well to the point where I I, I don't generally get one myself. It's gone before I get to it
Oh
because
yeah,
there's some other good stuff, and I'm like, oh well, at least my stuff's getting enjoyed, so that's awesome.
yeah. People like it. That's the important thing. So yeah. So we still have some Matt questions here.
Okay.
So with certain honeys being limited in some regions, what are you aspiring on your current mead or honey varietal bucket list?
So I have those 6 from World Honey Exchange, and I
But those are samples,
definitely
though. You can't make mead with those. I mean, you could, but it
no,
wouldn't be very
but
much.
I will be breaking the bank a bit at some point in time. I've already been in touch with Brian to get some larger quantities so I can actually work with those.
I just
Uh,
imagining your wife back there going, "Oh God."
I will say, you know what? Lord love her. She supports my brewing habit.
Yeah, mine
Upset.
does too. He's like, "We'll
Uh,
get a giant heavy box," and he's like, "What kind of honey did you get? Let me taste it before you put it downstairs."
Enabler
I
spices
really,
are the best.
Yeah, my spouse is definitely an enabler spouse.
Mine doesn't even
To the
like me.
point
But he puts up with my crap.
Same.
to the point where my buddy Graham at Counterpoint was selling one of his 600-liter stainless steel fermenters.
Oh no, you didn't.
And he messages me and goes, well, I'll sell it to you for, I need to get rid of it. I don't have room for all these extra fermenting vessels in the new space. I'll sell it to you at a huge discount. Do you want it? And I'm like, oh dear Lord. It's like, and
Yes, but
Sandy's like,
no.
and well, and because now they're all on Team Sandy. She's been pushing. She's like, you need to do this. You need to do this. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Like,
You need to let go commercial, or
yeah, that's what they're trying to just like. I'm
Yeah,
like, but you understand how crazy the laws are here in Ontario.
you have to have like 50 hives before you can even consider being a meadery.
You need to have a beekeeper bequeath you that many hives, and I think you need to be able to make the mead on the property where the honey's processed.
Yeah, there are yeah, it's 100 hives technically, but yeah, AJ's right. You do need to have beekeepers in cahoots, basically, that
Or
you
be the
are,
beekeeper. Yeah.
or a beekeeper if they're big enough. Yeah, that you can you've basically agreed that you're buying their produce, and that's what you're
Okay.
kind of thing. So it's still a huge cost investment to be able to kind of jump right into it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just like, I didn't end up getting a fermenter because I just don't have a spot for it. But
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even even if you get to the point where you collected enough funds to get a spot and the fermenters and the 100 hives that are bequeathed to you by another beekeeper and blah 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 and all that kind of happy horse shit, then you have to look at the fact that this is really good to have a job.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Man's got to eat.
man's got to eat. Yeah, exactly. No, I she has no problem with me spending money on honeys to try different things, as long as the mortgage is paid and the kids still have their
Right.
university tuition. I
Right.
don't think I'll be in too much trouble. But yeah, the one I really want to play with, that Miambo honey. Like
Oh yeah.
that.
That's a
Like,
beautiful honey, isn't it?
Mhm.
yeah. I open that up and I'm just like, oh my God, this smells fantastic.
And
It's
there's
like,
a dark and a light version.
Okay.
yeah, the
A
one
spring and a fall, basically.
You want to
the
get your
one that I got, I think, is the dark one. It didn't label it as light dark, but it definitely looked like it is the dark one compared to what I saw on the website.
Okay.
And I'm just like, oh my God, I love this honey.
You
So
want to
many
try?
ideas.
You want to try a crazy one? There was a honey purveyor at Valkyrie's Horn, and
Oh, you're talking about Katie Brine.
Katie Brine, yeah, Brine's honey, and they had this Spanish chestnut honey to die for. Oh my God, it was so good.
And the Spanish orange blossom is really
The
good.
Spanish
too.
orange blossom was really good too. If I'd had the money, I'd have got a bucket of both. I wish she'd had like sample sets because I would love to have got that to add to my
Add to the honey.
library. But I can dip it up. I mean, I bought a gallon of the Spanish, and a lot of people that have tried. I've been taking it. My bee club is basically I'm getting roped into bring the honey every time we have a meeting. And oh, by the way, we need you to teach mead making classes. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to end up in the same situation in my beekeeping club.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
they're into it.
ended up teaching a few guys in Cuba how to make mead when I brought my
That's
bottles.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, and they were like, you mean like the honey from the mountains? I said, yeah, I brought this home last year and I made my traditional out of it. And I brought the bottles back for everybody to try this year. And they're like, oh my God, I'm going to try this. So I'm going through it. Hey, here's the ratios. This is what you need to do, and he's like, I'm going to make,
cool.
you can try it when you come back. And I'm like, oh, this will be awesome.
Yeah. You're going to get there and there's going to be like 20 people all have been making mead going, this is so much fun.
There's a sugar shortage. So we switched to mead.
Yeah. Right? Sugar shortage in Cuba? I mean,
In
you can grow the
Cuba?
sugar
That-
they've
Yeah.
been going through a massive drought the last little while.
Oh,
Okay. I didn't realize. Yeah, because they have like massive sugarcane fields there, don't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Another one that you can literally like just spit and there's a sugar cane field right where we stay. It's actually great. Like the first few
too
years we
bad they
went.
don't really produce any nectar.
No. Wouldn't it be
No.
awesome if
Cool.
they did though?
Pollen, but not nectar.
Pollen,
Yeah.
but nectar, yeah. And we'd be walking by going to see farmers friends that we know, and it'd be on the Saturday where, because it's such a rural area, most of these people are destined that that's their job, is they're going to be farmers, they're career farmers. So we'd be walking by and all the kids are in the sugarcane field learning how to be a machitero and cut down the stalks, clean them and everything. And then you see them coming home at the end of the day, and their treat is they got a big hunk of sugar cane.
Mhm.
And back with their sugar cane that they can gnaw on for the next few days.
Yeah. Yeah, we had when I was in elementary school, we had a teacher that I think she went to Hawaii because at that point in time, this was in the 70s. Well, actually, it would have been in the late 60s, early 70s. That you didn't go to Cuba. Cuba was verboten, but she brought back a hunk of sugar cane from her vacation and had enough that we all of us got like an inch of sugar cane, and we'd never seen anything like that. They make sugar from beets here, so
Yeah.
we have sugar beets. So it was really neat because none of us had any idea. So she was teaching us about. I think that was one of the subjects that we were learning was farming in other countries or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but sugarcane was one of the subjects that came up, and so it was really cool to be able to like get a hands on. And that literally is the only time in my entire life I've tasted sugarcane, like directly.
Yeah.
I found it at the produce store a couple of years ago.
I've never seen it. You can see it in the stores up here. So.
You can get it. I've seen it occasionally in the grocery stores up here, but it's like real small stuff. Like it's not
like little bitty pieces. Yeah.
It's the high end grocery stores here.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you'd mentioned Ontario buckwheat in your bio write up a couple times, and one of the things that Nathan had asked was what historical meads have you made in the SCA you feel is and what do you feel is special about Ontario buckwheat?
You know what? The buckwheat Ontario honey, or the Ontario buckwheat that I've got, it doesn't. Well, there's two that I've tried. There's the buckwheat honey that I use in my braggot.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was Ackroyd honey, and the last few years it hasn't had that like. It has that barnyardy kind of smell to it, but not crazy like it was very mellow. I don't know what it was the last harvesting year for him, but it was actually like I would say quite pleasant. Like it was really really nice, and it just a nice little twang to the braggot. Like it's just unique, right? And the other eastern one that I got, again, like it was darker, a little more rich. It still had that known buckwheat kind of funk to it, but none of the weird off smell that you would normally get from a lot of it. So I'm really eager to try it out because when I first made my braggot years ago, I opened it up from supplier that I'd got out of it's a buckwheat field about an hour or so north of us that the beekeeper produces the buckwheat honey, and it was funky. Like I mean, like
Stink.
oh, but I mean, at the end of the day, the braggot was fantastic. It's
The taste is amazing if you can blow off the stink.
Off the stink, right? And but yeah, the last few years it's been a lot more milder as far as at least any of the stuff that I've managed to get a hold of. And as far as like historicals go, buckwheat, I mean, probably not far off as far as wild, uncultivated honeys from a variety of crops, barley, buckwheat, and rye, and all sorts of things that they would have been growing at the time, right? So it's an interesting honey to play with. But I think in the historicals, it fits nicely for a lot of them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've had Ontario buckwheat. I've had Eastern U.S. buckwheat, which does, at least in the ones that I've had, have that funk.
Okay, I'll make sure I get some if you come and visit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping to get all the way up there because you and I have to go up to see Andre.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
I'll have to give AJ the name of that beekeeper that I got the buckwheat from. That's in
Yeah.
Port, because it's a nice buckwheat. I've got like 6 kilos of it right now. So
Nice.
yeah, and that'll be. Was it? Dancing Bee
Oh, Dancing Bee? I've heard of them.
Okay.
in Ontario, Port Hope, Ontario. They have two sides to their business. They do a bunch of they have the honey shop, but then they also have a gift shop kind of thing where you can get beeswax and candles and all the other.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the same place that I got the blueberry blossom honey from.
Okay.
That's a pretty honey. It basically tastes like anybody who's been in anywhere with like wild blueberries, like northern Ontario, and you get that waft off of the blueberry bushes right when they're fully blue, and it's like that's what it tastes like, and I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
this is awesome. It's like this tastes like blueberries smell when you're walking through them
Now
camping.
that's what I like is if you get something, when you get something that's like that, like meadow foam's like that.
Yeah,
It tastes like it smells,
yeah,
and I love that.
yeah. That one that was an awesome one to get. I love that from the Flying Bee Ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that one's really another one I'm gonna get more of, and there's a few of theirs that I want to play with too, like I think was radish. They had a
Radish is an unusual one, and I've heard good things. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to try that or try it to see how it ferments and what it comes out like, because that's
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I know the flowers are really nice.
Yeah.
And
Because I grow radishes and they bolt every year.
Yeah,
So
I
I always
grow
get radish flowers.
Mustard honey is good too. It's different.
Yeah.
That was one that I got a sample of from somebody. I don't remember where I got it, but there was a lot of people in the Bee Club that were trying that and like, wow, this is really unusual, So everybody, of course, loved the meadow foam.
Yeah, yeah.
I get
Meadow
asked
foam.
about that one a lot.
I never everybody had always been talking about it when because as I was starting into the mead making and watching, City Steading Brews and Man-Made Mead and all these guys learning things and just trying to figure it out. And everybody's talking about meadow foam. And it was like, because I think, it was becoming the big one. Like this.
Yeah. We used to guard our sources. Like it was like people like, where'd you get it? Well, I'm not telling you.
And I do need to try this honey at some point in time. And then when I got it, and I'm like, yeah, I can see what all the fuss is about. I can understand that people really, really love this honey.
Oh yeah, it's so unique.
Yeah, and it's literally tastes like it tastes like a marshmallow to me, like a toasted
A couple other ones that if you haven't tried them yet are well worth trying because again, very unique and recognizable flavors is fireweed. And
that one is the other one was fireweed honey.
Okay, fireweed and Tupelo.
I have Tupelo would be an interesting one.
Tupelo is very distinctive. I mean, once you've tasted it, you will always recognize it. It's just one of those very unique flavors. Fireweed, I felt like it was the same way. It was very unique. I mean, because there's a lot of honeys that you could taste the differences, but they're not like extreme. If you know what I'm saying, like meadow foam, it's like holy crap, different. So
would mesquite be on that list too?
Yeah, mesquite would be on that list too. And the high desert honey that I had when I was out in Oregon that I have not been able to find since then. And and of course, being Kevin's favorite, the German cherry.
Cherry.
Yeah,
that is the holy grail of honey because you can't get it.
I've heard tales of how wonderful this honey is, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I have.
if Bee Seasonal, I don't know if Bee Seasonal, that's where we get it. Bee Seasonal, do they ship to Canada? I don't know. Let's find out.
Ask the almighty Google.
The almighty Google. Yeah, let's get off the SCA map here. And Bee Seasonal, come on. Now is not a good time for there we go. Not a good time for this thing to be slow. Let's see here.
I mean, you know what? With the honey, with like Brian and them, I've reached out to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll ship to Canada." It's just like you got to pay an arm and a leg
An
for
arm and a
shipping.
leg to get it there. Yeah. Bee Seasonal only ships within the continental U.S. But, I'm sure we could find a mule. So, but they've got, if you go look at beeseasonal.com, they have that German cherry honey, and it is spectacular.
Yeah, that was the
other one that my bee club folks were like, holy crap, where does this come from? And why don't we have any? Because we're covered up in cherry trees here,
Black Forest mead.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, God, that would be great.
A little bit of cocoa nibs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want to maybe do some, make it silky, I don't know. I have to think about that one.
You want to take a sip, and you want German
Piece of the cake, yeah.
Well, I've got ideas for the Valkyrie's horn for the pie thing, so we'll see if I can muster that one. Get ready.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because I do want to enter more states, because there are a lot.
Well, you're fading out a little bit there, Christian.
Can you got me now?
Yeah. You were going all wonky there for a bit. I don't know if it was just your connection or what.
Been my Wi-Fi. It's been kind of playing up a bit tonight. No, I'd like to enter a lot more U.S. competitions, because we do have a fair amount of competitions up here in Canada, but a lot of them are all home brewing. So I don't think there is any real just mead only in Canada.
There's not a ton of big mead only comps. Or good
Right.
sized ones, I should say. There's a lot of tiny ones, but there's Valkyrie's, Mazer,
Mead Stampede has gotten pretty big.
Yeah.
Domrus
Orpheus is good size. Domrus, Texas Mead Cup when they have it, which I'm not sure if it's going to happen this year.
Not happening.
Yeah.
At least we haven't heard anything new lately. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a little behind the 8 ball on Mead Stampede, because I know they just opened up the registrations like a few days ago. So
right. I mean, that's a pretty good comp, especially for people starting out. I think it's pretty approachable.
Yeah,
it is at a tough time of the year though for shipping mead, because they hold it like over the 4th of July weekend, I think.
Which one is this?
Yeah.
Mead Stampede. It's in
Stampede.
Oklahoma, and over the 4th
sounds
of
like
July
a terrible
weekend,
time to be sending mead anywhere,
especially if you're shipping from a long ways away, like
exactly.
Canada.
Sitting on a truck going across the country at 110 degrees in a truck. It's
I'd say I'd lean more towards like Valkyries or Domrus, which are both in they're in January and February, and then or March, February and March, and or Mazer, which is later in the year, and then
Michigan Mead Cup,
which is in the fall. That's pretty good size, and
well, in Valhalla, but I suspect that is dead.
I think so, yeah.
After what happened this year, it's going to be tough to recover. So those are the bigger ones for sure. There's the one that just started up last year in St. Louis.
Oh, the Kansas City beer Meister?
No, it's St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis. Oh, okay.
And it's not real big. It's like 100 entries or so at this point. So I think
that'd take long though.
if they do a good job, it'll grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few. We'll probably end up with some more mead-only comps over time, I hope. As the
Yeah,
hobby
Texas
grows,
Meat Cup's
you know?
still in limbo, but they're meeting with the board this weekend. And then Tracy also says Your Honey or Your Life is a new one.
Yeah, I think that's the St. Louis one, I think.
Is that the St. Louis one? Okay.
And she says also Virginia Mead Cup, but I don't know. Did they cancel that this last year because they didn't get enough entries? I think.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing it was going on. Yeah. And sadly, Mead for Your Die didn't survive. So
Right. Yeah, that's been gone a couple of years
yeah, it's
now.
been gone a few years. Yeah, I was at one of the last couple of years of it.
Mhm.
But
Oh, the Mead Con was canceled, not the comp. Okay.
yeah. Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had probably aiming more for the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, look at either Mazer or Valks or Domrus. Valks is in Minneapolis, so that's one you could actually come to because that's not halfway around the world for you. Like Domrus is down in Georgia, so
yeah, would be a trip.
Yeah, it would be a trip. Yeah. So, but if you were to come to Valks, there's a couple of meaderies in Minneapolis. Plus, you'd have all of us there, and we could certainly bring things for you to take back.
You don't even need to go to the meaderies.
Not really, no. Well, you just be at the comp, and you'll get fixed up. You'll go out of there with mead, no question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't judged yet, come and volunteer to steward.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's another thing I think I'm going to try and cross off my bucket list in the coming year or so, is to actually go through the BJCP and do the.
We'll probably be having a BJCP tasting exam next year.
Oh yeah.
The day before the comp starts. Yeah, most likely.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Well, we've done it a couple times. Last year we had some interested people, and then we didn't get enough to fill the seats that are necessary to be held, because you have to have, I think, 6 people minimum. That's the BJCP deal, which is unfortunate, but that's the way they do it.
Yeah.
So
I know here in Toronto, the Toronto Homebrew Club, they'll run BJCP
exams,
lessons and exams from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Homebrew Club, we've got a couple of certified judges, actually quite a few, I think. And so they kind of keep up on it. They're like, hey, we're going to be doing one. Can we rope up a few more people to do the course? And so.
Yeah, it's worth doing. You learn a lot as part of the process. So I do think, and I believe becoming a judge, whether it's beer, mead, cider, whatever, helps you to become a much better brewer.
Yeah, and that's
really
the goal for me is the knowledge on the making side, is learning those things that still learning now, to what to look out for, how to control and ensure that my quality keeps going up and up. Right.
Yeah. Oh, Midwinter died?
Yep, it's done.
Okay.
Midwinter is no more. This was the last one was this year.
Okay. Yeah, somebody Rob was asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a good comp, but it just got the same 2 or 3 guys had been running it for however.
Well, yeah, there comes a point where you just don't have enough people to keep all the balls in the air, and
if nobody wants to take up the torch.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just gets harder and harder to get the judges, because a lot of the judges are aging out, and
or
the
they
younger
don't
folks
feel like traveling or can't get away.
Yep. And they're not volunteering to help, and so it just gets to be more work, and then finally it's enough.
Burnout.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently they had cool medals though.
Yeah, they were nice.
Yeah, we had cool medals at Bruce Slam. They were poker chip.
Oh, fun.
Okay.
Yeah, they did a whole Las Vegas gambling theme for Bruce Slam.
Okay.
All gold, silver, and bronze poker chips. It's cool. Like actual, but they were stylized like poker chips. It was cool. And I'm a poker player, so it was.
Okay. So that has significance for you.
Yeah. I think the good comps have really upped their game for sending out medals and stuff. A lot of really cool stuff.
Oh, did you see the
going on
medals
now.
that EMMA had this year?
I didn't.
Yeah, some people were posting pictures of them. This pretty nice ones.
Huh.
Yeah, and even up here, the prizing is really really good. Like they won a best in show at the Brew Slam for the beer side because they don't do it for the meat side. They ended up with a
A what?
spike conical
Oh,
ferment.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
wow.
That was their. So I was like, well, that's the prize.
it's a pretty nice prize.
Yeah. And another one was a barrel. I think it was like a 10 gallon aging barrel. Yeah, there was
Nice.
really, really good prizes.
Yeah. Gosh, you're gonna have to up your game, Kev.
Oh, we give out a lot.
You do.
And
You have pretty good prizes too. So
it takes a lot of money to do that stuff.
it does.
Eggs of honey going out. I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Takes money and sponsors.
Yeah, money and sponsors is the thing. Well, wow, we just blew through 2 hours without even realizing it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is 10 after 11. Holy
I
crap.
know, right? Yeah. It's like, yeah, for us it's after 11. For Kevin, it's just after 10, but
Right.
you know, but he's had a long day too. So
Uh-huh.
So this was very cool. So now we just need to lure you out of Canada and down to the States for a comp.
Yeah, they'll have to make some
Stewarding
plans.
Yeah.
Stewarding is amazing. If you haven't done it, stewarding is amazing.
Yeah, it's hard up here because we don't have many comps in Ontario.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities to steward. My homebrew club used to do a competition years ago, but they haven't done it for the last few years again, like readership, sponsors, volunteers, kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
It's an undertaking.
Yeah.
And you have to have people who want to do all the organization because it's not like you get paid for it.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, using your hard-earned vacation time to spend 3 days organizing before a weekend affair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely gonna try and plan a road trip down that way and hit up meaderies and some comps and stuff. And my wife has got this weird, stupid eating grin on her face and nodding her head.
That's awesome.
She's rubbing her hands together. Yes, honey, let's do that. I wish my husband would do that. It's like, look, honey, I'm going to Mazer Cup in Milwaukee. You want to come? No, I'll stay
have
here with
fun.
the dogs. You know, it's
No,
like you're no fun.
And it'll be like you're going and I'm driving.
Yeah, yeah. We have our national black powder shoot down in northwestern Virginia, the same weekend as the Sugar Belt
Oh wow.
Mead Festival down in Indiana, and I was like, "You need to decide right now if you're going to go, because I want to go to Sugar Belt."
Yeah. I have a friend here in Lincoln, which is like near the Niagara Bench. He's a bushcrafter, runs a school and archery and axe throwing, but he also does black powder shooting. And he's been crying for me to go down there and fire his gun with him. So yeah, that's one thing I've never done is shot a gun.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
The black powder's fun because it's muzzle loading, you know. So
Yeah.
it's competition, 5 to 8 members, and we shoot everything from pistols all the way up to actual cannons.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, you haven't lived until you've shot a cannon. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the black powder thing kind of interests me because it's a little
really
more,
cool. Yeah.
yeah.
It's historical.
Well, and I mean, I mean, any kind of target shooting is a skill, but black powder
Fun.
target shooting is a real skill because you're on a 5-minute timed event to take down, and down in front of you, you've got, say, 16 clays hanging from wires on a frame, and they're 50 yards away, and you have iron sights, and you have to, of course, load the gun after every shot, So
Yeah.
you're like, you pour your powder and you put your bullet in, and then you ram the bullet all the way down, pick up the gun, shoot, put it down, do it all over again. And the really good guys can get off 10, 12 shots in a 5 minute if they need to. But if they're that good, usually they only need 4 or 5 because they clear their particular section of the, however many they're supposed to get, and then they just start picking up all the strays that somebody else didn't get, like, I missed that one, can you grab it? Yeah, I got it. So yeah. But
for your black powder, you like you load from scratch, or do you use like a quick loader?
No, when you get into reenacting, this is Civil War era stuff that I'm doing, black powder Civil War era, so mid 1800s. But we wear the uniforms, we shoot replica. Some guys actually have originals, but most of us shoot replicas because originals are kind of hard to come by. The days of 50 guns in a barrel that you dug out of your backyard are over. I knew somebody who did that and was like, that is so cool, But yeah, he did. He dug in his backyard, found a box, opened the box, and there's like 50 rifles wrapped in oilcloth.
Oh shoot!
In a box in his yard, and my dad is like, damn. next weekend, my dad's out with a metal detector in my yard. But it was pretty cool. But we use commercial black powder. You have to. I mean, you can't make your own. I think that's illegal, and not to mention dangerous. And then we melt our own lead and cast our own bullets, and then we load them in what looks like a shotgun shell.
Yeah.
Bottom, so you pour your powder in there, and then you just jam they're mini balls. They're that funny shaped bullet from the Civil War. So it's like a sort of a fat bullet shape with 3 rings around the bottom. And it's called a mini ball after the Frenchman who invented the thing. And so when you load, you pull the mini ball out and hold it in one hand, dump your powder down the rifle barrel, stick the mini ball on the top, and then take your rammer and ram that bullet down to the bottom on top of the powder, and then haul up and shoot, and then do it. I'm doing the hand gestures as I do it. You guys can't see it.
Oh, I saw that. No.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Yeah.
No.
But so you get really good at it after a while, but it's it's a process, and we get guys that'll they'll be going so fast they'll leave their ramrod in, they'll shoot the ramrod down range. That's always fun to watch. God help you, your hat blows off, at least 20 people will shoot holes in it before it gets anywhere down range. It's just it's a lot of fun. And when we shoot the cannons, you've got 20-30 cannons all going off at once for a period of an hour. The ground literally moves.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it is a sight to see. Let me tell you, when we do it at night, it's freaking amazing because you get fireballs coming out. I mean, it just blows your mind. And we're not shooting obviously exploding cannonballs. We're making though cannon armament that is physically, so if they're balls, or there's ones that look like giant mini rounds. Depending on if you've got rifled or unrifled cannon and what sort of cannon it is, yada yada yada. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of cannons. So I don't know. I know like what our kinds are. We have parrot rifles in my team, but there's a guy who shoots a Napoleon, and it's this tiny little brass thing that's like 2 feet long and about 6 inches across. And when it fires, it goes tang, and you can hear it a half mile away. And then there's another one that's a giant siege cannon, and that thing shoots like 150-pound ball of zinc. And the cannon itself has to be hauled in. They bring it in on a trailer, and then they have to lift it off the trailer with a like a standalone winch. So it's like a winch on a tripod, so they can lever the thing up and then swing it to where it's got to go because it weighs so much.
That's crazy. Yeah, you get a kick out of El Moro in Cuba. Then it's in Santiago de Cuba. It's the Spanish castle from.
Santiago de Cuba, yeah.
We went and did a tour of that last year, and we went into the munitions room, and they have like the different size cannonballs and the weights and everything, like what the sizes were, and they still had the big the loading ramp with this, so they'd have to haul the cannonballs out of the munitions store onto the walls, and I'm like, this is freaking cool.
It is so cool, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it's also way down in Northern Virginia, and Indiana's only a 5-hour drive, and there'll be like 30 meaderies. So yeah, I will be at the Sugar Belt this year. In fact, I'm going to be pouring for Corey at his meadery. So Tree Hive.
That'll be a good trip.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I got to find out who else is going though, so I know who to gang up with. You know, my partner in crime, Tracy, won't be there, and AJ is my other partner in crime. She won't be there either. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry, not
Yeah.
visiting you for a while.
I know. That's at some point. Besides, I think it's my turn. So you've been to the States a few times. I've only been to Canada once, and not anywhere near you. So
Fine.
yeah.
We
Well,
can
it's a big
work it that
country.
way.
What can I say?
It is.
But
Unfortunately, there's not much in the middle.
it is a little open in the middle, isn't it?
Well, you know.
Yeah. Well, those wide open spaces are nice.
They are.
Yeah, but we should let you get going, and you and I will be talking, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see you down on our side of the border at some point in the not too distant future.
Hopefully, in the not too distant future, we'll see how all the craziness happens too. So it's it's a weird time right now. It's that's probably the reason why I'm not going to Pennsic this year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I stopped going because it got so I couldn't really afford it.
And it's not a cheap trip. That's true.
No, it is definitely not. And the gear you got to have. I mean, that's the thing is like I got to the point where I didn't have a big enough vehicle. Yeah. My husband's like, "You are not taking my truck." But Dad, but it's like I got a tent, I got the kitchen, and I got all this other stuff, and yeah.
No, it was awesome. Like, thank you for having me on. It was great.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Glad you joined us.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you got another person up in your general direction, AJ. I know that you guys are a couple hours apart, but still closer than the rest of us. So
Closer than to you, yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I tend to get up that way quite frequently because I have family in Merrickville and Kingston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I end up in that neck of the woods a few times a year at least. I'll be up there again in a few weeks probably for
Easter's
an
coming.
What's that? Sorry?
Easter's coming.
Easter's coming, but a friend of mine is getting elevated in the SCA to a
Nice.
So I think I've arranged to make a day trip at least and get up there to be able to be there for his elevation. And then
Nice.
we've got a couple events that happen throughout. I'll be in Ottawa. There's a day event that they do for it's a fencing tournament. Fencing.
Okay.
So yeah, I get up there quite frequently. So I'll definitely have to shoot you a message, AJ, when I'm up in the woods.
We can meet up and you can look on in horror at my meadery.
Yeah.
It's kind of buried in empty bottles right now.
Hey, mine's buried boxes, so I feel your pain. You say I look forward to the day I get to make meat again.
Yeah. I don't have a technical meadery. It's wherever I can find a nice spot to stick a few more carboys right now.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I moved my meadery into the basement, 10 years ago, and I still have a couple of carboys upstairs in the kitchen.
There's no room in my kitchen in this house because it's a galley kitchen. So my other one had corners I could stick things in. This one doesn't, and at least not any that don't occlude at least 2 cabinets. And then I've got the nice space in the basement if I can ever get all those boxes unpacked. So that'll hopefully be happening sometime in the next couple of months, but it's hard to say. But in the meantime, we will let you head out and we're going to wind things up here. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again. And
glad to have you.
And we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
All right.
We will.
Yeah, good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Night, Christian. Okay, upcoming guests. April 22nd, we have Arnie DeFern at Clockwork Bee Mead in Antwerp, Belgium. And May 6th, we've got Alan Radicevic at Full Moon Mead. He's in Transylvania. So that'll be pretty cool. Lots of events coming up. April 9th, Green Mountain Mashers, Essex, Vermont, that's tomorrow, their Mead Series Part 4, Specialty Meads. April 10th, Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio, has a mead tasting with meads from Brothers Drake, Dutch Creek, Four Fires, and Feisty Brood. So that'll be really nice. I've only had mead from one of those meaderies, so I wouldn't mind checking that out myself if I was anywhere near there, which I'm not. So April 10th, Viking Alchemist Meadery in Smyrna, Georgia, has a mead and mini painting party. April 11th, Artifice Ales Mead in Mannheim, Pennsylvania, has line dancing. That'd be fun. April 11th, St. Ambrose Cellars, Beulah, Michigan, has Kyle Brown live music. April 12th, Kupka's Be Good Meadery in Auburn, Indiana, has a mead makers night. April 12th, Mershon Cidery in Stoughton, Wisconsin, has the Wisconsin Cider and Mead Festival featuring 20 meaderies and cideries. April 12th, St. Ambrose Cellars, Beulah, Michigan, has Touch of Gray with live music. April 12th, Doggone Bees Meadery and Apiary in Hanover, PA, has mead making class. April 12th, the Great Minnesotan Mead Tour. I always want to say A at the end of that.
No, that's a Canadian thing, eh?
Well, it's a Uper Canadian / Northern Minnesota thing, eh? St. Paul, Minnesota, 3 meaderies, tasting flights, charcuterie, and lunch. April 16th, Kingview Mead, Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, has their trivia night. April 18th, Shiny Apple Winery in Howell, Michigan, has a mead tasting and art display and their summer flavors reveal. April 19th, Grimsby Hollow Meadery, Middleville, Michigan, has the Drink Mead, Learn Things, German Renaissance Armory, and the Military Revolution. Yeah. April 20th, St. Ambrose Cellars, Beulah, Michigan, has their Easter brunch and egg hunt. And then on April 25th, St. Ambrose has Luke Waltansky live music. I had to look close at that. April 26th, Four Brothers Mead in Festus, Missouri, has Sigerblatt, their Spring Viking Festival. April 26th, Moonjoy Meadery in Lenore, North Carolina, has mead and mindfulness. April 26th, Four Brothers Mead, Festus, Missouri, has the Tanglefoot Collective with live music. April 29th, St. Ambrose Meadery, Beulah, Michigan, has the R&B Sushi Experience. Make 3 sushi rolls. All materials provided. Take home your own sushi making kit. I'm actually signed up for this one.
So that's cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I just basically told John, I'm like, we're going to St. Ambrose on the 29th. That's 4 days after my birthday, and this is what we're going to do. And he's like, okay. May 2nd, Patriot Brewery and Homebrew Supplies in Elkhorn, Nebraska, has a mead making seminar. May 3rd, Doggone Bees Meadery and Apiary in Hanover, Pennsylvania, has a mead making class. May 3rd, Four Brothers Meadery in Festus, Missouri, has Zoe Vox with live music. May 3rd, Kingview Mead, Mount Lebanon, PA, has their trivia night. May 4th, St. Ambrose Cellars has, you can see which ones are the ones that have all the events here. May 4th, St. Ambrose Cellars, Beulah, Michigan, double disc open frisbee golf. May the 4th be with you. May 8th, Kingview Mead, Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, has day 1 with acoustic music. And May 17th is the Sugar Belt Mead Festival in Crown Point, Indiana. Many meaderies, it was 25 or 30 last I looked, with their wares at this festival, live music, food trucks, and more. This is a lot of fun. Been to this. If you haven't checked it out, it's a great way to get to try a whole bunch of different meads from all over the country. So and there's just always a lot of mead folk there, so it's just a good time. So definitely check it out. And of course, support your local meadery, whatever country you might be in. And if you don't have a local meadery and you're in the United States, you can go to shopmeads.com, and there's mead from all over the U.S. in there. So definitely check it out. If you want to get your event on Got Mead Live, please email us. We love to hear from you at gotmead@gotmead.com, and we'll be happy to put it on the show for you. In the meantime, we'll be back on the 22nd with Arnie DeFern. And in the meantime, be excellent to one another, and we'll see you soon.
All
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night, all.